Get then to the Champions League commentary at the Emirates. You can hear the music. Arsenal and PSG go tete-a-tete. Commentary on Talksport from former England striker Darren Bent alongside Sam Matterpace.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, welcome. The Champions League is the ultimate measure of a club's success, but it is a trophy that these two sides have never won. Arsenal and PSG have come close fleetingly, but they share just two European trophies between them, the Cup Winners' Cups of 1994 and 1996. With the Gunners, for so long, just getting to the Champions League has seemed to be enough. If there was a medal for participation in the early part of this century, then Arsenal would probably have been the ones to receive it. Always there until it came to the knockouts, and then usually Bayern or Barcelona would beat them. 19 seasons in a row they qualified for the Champions League. 13 times they were knocked out in the group stage of the first knockout round, including each of the last 7 of those years. Then came the barren years between 2017 and 2023. They were on the outside looking in, and it was cold out there. So getting back in and getting to the quarter-finals last season was a step in the right direction, and they don't take their participation for granted any longer. This has the feel of a big night, an important night. PSG can be forgiven for taking their position in this competition for granted. No one's going to wrestle their grip on French football anytime soon. But their owners want the loot. They've tried it all, tried everyone seemingly, but now Luis Enrique has been charged with trying to collect it. Arsenal in red, unchanged from the weekend. No Ousmane Dembele for PSG in blue. Our referee is Slavko Vincic of Slovenia, last year's Champions League referee in the final at Wembley. It's the second time he's appeared at the Emirates Stadium, with the last time seeing Arsenal draw 0-0 against Villarreal in the second leg of the Europa League semi-final back in 2021. VAR is available tonight, and there's semi-automated offsides. And Darren Bent, this atmosphere inside the stadium tonight is nothing short of terrific.
Well, good evening. I mean, the atmosphere, I can barely hear you speaking there. I mean, the fans are in good voice, the flags are waving. And listen, PSG have brought their fans as well. They've been remarkable. Probably been in here for the last couple of hours doing the thunderclap, really singing their songs. And it should be a fantastic atmosphere, a game I'm really looking forward to. Two different styles, but two teams that want to play on the front foot and want to go and create opportunities. So I can't wait for this one.
Elsewhere tonight, Slovan Bratislava versus Manchester City is on Talksport 2, and I promise you we'll keep up with the full programme in the EFL as well. And there is a penalty at Carrow Road in the Championship for Talksport's Mike Shaw.
And it's just been scored by Josh Sargent, his third goal of the season, and it was he who won the penalty. Norwich came forward through Ante Ciernats, played a lovely ball into the penalty area for Sargent, who had his right leg taken away from him by Joe Rodon, and then Sargent stepped up and sent the ball almost underneath Ilan Meslier. He couldn't quite get his left hand to it. It was a fairly centrally struck penalty, but it means Norwich are in front. Norwich 1, Leeds 0.
And we're underway here at the Emirates Stadium with Arsenal in those red body shirts, white sleeves and white shorts, Red Sox attacking the goal away to our right. PSG in the dark blue with a thick red stripe down the middle of their chest, all the way down from the front of their neck to their midriff. And they're shooting from right to left in this first half. Vitinha tussling with Saka on the near side. Kang In Lee dropping deep to pick it up. Here's Thomas Partey taking it back to the halfway line. And Arsenal have possession on that halfway line. Raya in goal. Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiori. Partey and Rice in midfield. Saka, Trossard and Martinelli behind Havertz in attack. Donnarumma is the PSG goalkeeper. Achraf Hakimi the right back. Marquinhos, Paco and Nuno Mendes the back four. A three-man midfield of Zaire Emery, Vitinha and João Neves, Doué, Kang In Lee and Barcola going forward. Here is Havertz, played in by Saka, down the right channel into the penalty area. Turns it back to the edge of the box where Partey is waiting. Good early possession this. There was an offside, I think, as that move developed initially, and eventually it's brought back by the assistant on this near side. Communicates with his referee, and it's going to be a free kick just inside the penalty area. The PSG fans, numbering about 2,000, are bouncing up and down in unison over on the far side, singing their Parisian tunes.
Yeah, they brought the noise, the PSG fans. I mean, some really interesting battles, because it looks like with PSG in this 4-3-3, Arsenal at times are going to go to like a 4-4-2 with Trossard going up alongside Kai Havertz, and see how that plays out. But I like that situation there where Saka's really positive. He goes at Mendes, goes past him like he's not even there, and Kai Havertz, if he just holds his run maybe half a second, he gets in and it's a good opportunity. But it's been a really fast start from Arsenal in possession.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier, the average positions of those two players, if you look over the last 4 or 5 games, they're almost identical actually, and like if you look at where they are now, they're playing as like two withdrawn strikers, with Martinelli and Saka, the two furthest players up the pitch, right tight to either touchline, really wide.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is
here's Martinelli stretching in behind, trying to get there ahead of Donnarumma, and Donnarumma comes, and he certainly connects with Martinelli. He was the favourite there. Donnarumma came and grabbed the ball. There was a collision after that, and the referee stopped the play because both players are injured. Now, I don't think that there was any suggestion of a penalty here, but Donnarumma, who has been out for the last 4 games with a thigh problem, is now having to get some treatment on this near side. It was a long ball straight down the middle. Both of them went to... It was a 50-50 that, Darren. Actually, looking at the replay, 50-50, and he nearly got there, did Martinelli. And then when he landed, Donnarumma came out with the ball, and his leg was sort of caught in between the 2 legs of the goalkeeper.
Yeah, he was there, Martinelli. I mean, it's a fantastic ball from David Raya, by the way, from back to front. Clearly they've worked on that and they've spotted it, because, as you said there, Sam, Leandro Trossard and Havertz have pushed up a little bit, leaving that space in behind, and Martinelli's just gone poof in behind. But then as he gets there, I think he's got every right to try and go for it. But I mean, that could be an avenue there, because Marquinhos is a wonderful footballer, centre half, reads the game really well. One thing he lacks is pace, and we quite clearly saw it there with Martinelli running in behind.
Donnarumma is up on his feet, and he's had his treatment. The physio's just leaving the field of play. He will get the free kick away to our right-hand side. You may know by now that the group stage is gone, and it's now a league phase in the Champions League. 36 teams, one big Champions League table. The top 8 go into the last 16. The next 16, 9th to 24th, play off to join them. The bottom 12 go out, and there's no room for error. You drop out of the Champions League, you drop out of Europe. There's no safety net of the Europa League anymore. And Arsenal, after drawing the first game with Atalanta, PSG winning away in Girona, when you predict and opt to do that you need around about 15 points to go through in the top 8, then Arsenal need to start putting points on the board very quickly. Ball thrown down the left side by Nuno Mendes, up towards Barcola, who has his hair braided, flapping around behind him as he chases towards Saliba. It's cleared away by the Arsenal defence, picked up by Vitinha, and then once again they look to bring the ball forward up to the halfway line. Poor pass out from the right back position by Hakimi, and it's cut out by Declan Rice, and Arsenal have possession on the halfway line. 5 minutes played, Arsenal 0, Paris Saint-Germain 0, live on the Champions League tonight. Slovan Bratislava against Manchester City is on Talksport 2. And in the Championship, Luton 1-0 up against Oxford, and Norwich have taken the lead in their game against Leeds United. Coventry 1-0 up against Blackburn. They're the ladies from the Championship. Oh, given away by Arsenal. Raya was a little bit scrappy there, gave it to Kang In Lee. Kang In Lee then tried to play it back to Barcola. I think in the end there was a foul on the edge of the penalty area for Arsenal. Trossard was the one who was sort of kicked, but that was a slightly hesitant moment for Arsenal's defence, who gave the ball away cheaply. And I think it might have been Saka actually who gave it away.
Yeah, it was Saka. I mean, he's got the ball in a really good position. I'm thinking just lay it off to Timber, let him clear it up the field and everyone gets up. But he tried to be a little bit too clever, tried to come inside, and they win it back really well. And I mean, it's a great challenge from the defender. I think it's Trossard who gets himself back in there, because Barcola turns and his next touch probably would have been a shot on goal. But doing his defensive work there, Leandro Trossard.
Oof, got a real whack on the back of the calf there, Leandro Trossard, and he is just stretching that out as we start to build from the back with Arsenal once again. They bring it up towards the left-hand side, and Calafiori, who goes on a swashbuckling run, he puts the accelerator on and goes past Zaire Emery, and then he draws a challenge over on that far side and then wins the throw and takes it quickly. Trossard then tries to juggle with it and play it into Martinelli. Marquinhos steps across and manages to clear, and it goes out to the far side where they go on the hunt again with Doué. Arsenal turn it over once more, and Declan Rice this time is adjudged to have taken the ball out of play, and it's out for a throw-in.
Yeah, good play there from Declan Rice, stepping into midfield there, picking up the pieces and trying to counter-attack for Arsenal. But I like what they're doing, the way they're pressing really, really high. They're not letting PSG out, they're not letting them settle. Timber there, getting his foot in. But it's really intriguing that Havertz and Trossard are almost dropping in as two false number 10s, and that's allowing the space, because Marquinhos, they're almost like, what do we go? Do we go with him? Do we not? And it's quite clever, because the moment one of them steps out, you've seen Saka running behind, we've seen Martinelli using his pace to get him behind as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting, the pace of the game in the early exchanges as well, Darren Bent. It's absolutely furious, isn't it? Both teams really going at it. Cleared away by Nuno Mendes, who's just recovering from a virus. He hooks it out for a throw-in, halfway inside the PSG half of the field. The Emirates looks resplendent tonight, the perfect stage, dark sky, bright yellow floodlights illuminating the pitch, the two tiers full, and the middle one as well crammed. There's a few empty seats in the corporate boxes, but apart from that, it's pretty much full inside this stadium. That sloping grey roof that dips and rises on either side. We're just right at the halfway line, on the back row of the bottom tier, snuggled into a press box where our producer Izzy couldn't get a seat tonight at one point. We had to bargain for it because it is so busy. Such is the interest in this game. There's interest in the game in Dortmund as well. That's because Celtic are in action. They had a cracking win in the first match day. What's the situation tonight? We'll find out in just a second. But Calafiori has been played in by Martinelli. It's gone down the right-hand side to Saka. Saka into the penalty. Left-footed shot, curling towards the far stick. It's over the top of the crossbar. But it was a very quick, fast break from Arsenal, and it almost unsettled Paris Saint-Germain. Who's been unsettled in Dortmund, David Tanner?
Celtic are unsettled. It's Borussia Dortmund 1, Celtic 0 after 7 minutes. Emre Can, the captain, who was once signed by Liverpool by Brendan Rodgers, has scored a penalty kick after Jamie Gittins, England under 21 man, was upended in the box by Kasper Schmeichel. Emre Can makes it 1-0.
Grimsby lead away at Gillingham by a goal to 0. Northampton 0, Bolton Wanderers 2. Manchester City have just scored. Ilkay Gundogan from the edge of the penalty area, a deflected shot has put Pep Guardiola's team in front, and Barcelona, through Robert Lewandowski, lead young boys by a goal to 0. Here's Bradley Barcola on the attack for PSG, going towards our left and getting to the edge of the penalty area, back towards the edge of the box where it's scooped forward by João Neves, and then there was a challenge by Calafiori over on the far side as Hakimi broke into the box, and it's gone out for a corner kick over on the far side. And Arsenal just a little bit unsettled themselves there, Darren Bent.
Yeah, Calafiori doesn't dive in, because if he dives in, because Hakimi takes a touch, and it's a good touch, but it's almost a lucky touch, because all in one movement he turns towards the byline, and you think he's got past Calafiori, but he doesn't. He managed to get back, stay on his feet and make the challenge.
I thought he had gone beyond him there for a second. Here is the corner to be taken over on that far side. Marquinhos has come up into an advanced position to try and get ahead on this. Paco is up there too. Zaire Emery, who's quite tall, in towards the near post. It's a flick on, and it's a good one by João Neves. It comes back out to the edge of the box, and Nuno Mendes with a volley. First time was uncontrolled, and it wildly skips behind the goal away to our left, about 10-15 yards wide in the end from the Portuguese left back. It's 0-0.
Yeah, good play there. Good. I thought they dealt with the situation really well, though. Arsenal headed it to the edge of the box. I think it's Trossard again, who's, I said in this first half, so one or two moments defensively have been absolutely outstanding. So Arsenal, I think, will be happy with the two, the way they've settled. They've caused PSG problems, but we've got to be careful because they've got real quality, and especially Bradley Barcola. Pressing
high from the front, and that's the job of Kang-in Lee tonight. They play almost without a number 9. They play a 4-3-3 formation with a withdrawn number 9 like Kang-in Lee, who's more of a sort of number 8 really, but he's playing there because he's so good at holding up the ball. He was brilliant with his back to goal against Rennes on Friday night, and he will occupy both centre-backs and the goalkeeper when they're trying to play out from the back. Let's go back to Dortmund. Another goal for David Tanner.
Another 2 goals. Celtic equalise, but through Daisen Maeda, but I can tell you that Borussia Dortmund have gone straight up the pitch. A long one up from the goalkeeper, and Karim Adeyemi has made it 2-1 to the Germans. So it's Borussia Dortmund 2, Celtic 1, 2 goals in a minute.
Wayne Rooney was at Old Trafford on Sunday. He looked pretty glum. Is he looking glum tonight at Turf Moor? John Dunn.
He certainly is, Sam. It's Burnley 1, Plymouth 0, 25 gone. Penalty scored by Josh Brownhill after a really clumsy challenge by Ibrahim Sissoko on Josh Cullen. Burnley 1, Plymouth 0.
Inter Milan 1-0 up against the Red Star Belgrade. Hakan Çalhanoğlu has got the goal. Fleetwood 1, Warsaw 1 away at the Bescott Stadium. Here's another latest scoreline from League 2 tonight. Here it's 0-0 between Arsenal and PSG. And both teams have had their spells. Here is Kang In Lee dropping deep now into a midfield position to play the ball back to Vitinha, who was once at Wolverhampton Wanderers, scored a wonder goal at Chorley Town in the FA Cup in the early rounds of that competition. Running in from the right-hand side, they pick the ball up here. It's a really good move, and it's picked up by Doué, and Doué tried to get in behind the defence, but it was always looking as if he was in an offside position. It took a little bit of time, actually, for the assistant on the far side to raise his flag. Doué coming in from that right-hand side and sort of, I don't know, finding himself in so much room there. I was a bit surprised, actually, that it took so long for the assistant on the far side to put his flag up. He should have done that straight away, shouldn't he?
Yeah, 2 yards offside. I mean, I think that's what players get frustrated with. That it's clearly offside. We can all see it. It's 2 yards offside, in that they take so long to blow their whistle and put the flag up. But it's really interesting what PSG do, because Bradley Barcola on this left-hand side, he stays really wide. He never goes inside, doesn't get involved. But what he's trying to do, he's trying to separate Timber and William Saliba. He's trying to create that gap for João Neves to run between the fullback and the centre-half. He doesn't get involved.
Timber has gone the other way now, picked the ball up on the halfway line. He's cantered forward, he's got Saka outside him. Saka picks it up, gets to the edge of the penalty area, cuts in left-footed, deep cross to the far post. Donnarumma is so big, so long. He stretches out his arms and above his 6'5" frame and grabs the ball ahead of both Havertz and Trossard, who Trossard is very small in comparison to Donnarumma. He looks like a little boy in comparison to Donnarumma. And then PSG are able to clear from inside their 6-yard box.
He is massive, Donnarumma.
Absolutely,
I mean, it's the
huge.
first time I've seen him live. Oh my goodness. And Trossard went up for a header with him. I thought, oh no, don't do that.
There's only one
Exactly.
winner here, mate. Ball cleared by PSG. Again, the Arsenal pressure is good, but it's collected well by Vitinha. Back to the edge of the 18-yard box and Marquinhos. Declan Rice was saying that at the season's end, they may well look back at Saturday's game with Leicester as a key moment in the title race. It's a game that they had to win twice, really. The sort of sloppiness that they showed in that game after going 2-0 in front, though, will hold no truck in Europe. There is a need to be decisive and clinical and resolute in this most testing of competitions. And it's been a bit of a stressful time for Arsenal. The games against Tottenham, Atalanta, Manchester City would have taken it out of most teams. Throw this one into the mix as well. It is tough mentally to stay switched on during that whole period, especially with the injuries they've got.
Exactly, yeah, and that's why you've got to credit Mikel Arteta. He's clearly got a game plan, but also these players as well. They're trusting in what he's trying to do, the instructions he's given them. And you're right, mentally they've had to dig in at times. They've had to find ways to win ugly, because that's teams showing them respect, not giving them too much space, not letting them play the way they want to play. So they've got to find another way to win, and tonight might be another one of those occasions.
Love the fact that you nearly dropped "trust the process" in there.
I nearly did, and that's why I didn't say it.
You're listening to Arsenal 0, PSG 0 in the Champions League on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Sam Matterface and Darren Bent at the Emirates Stadium tonight. And it is a real noise and a real atmosphere and the feeling of a big occasion. Ball on the near side with Kang In Lee trying to hold off the attention of Jurrien Timber, and he wins the free kick. There is a problem here, though, for Nuno Mendes, who looks as if he's hurt his shoulder and he looks in some pain, and we've got to pause as a result of that. Newport 2-0 up against Salford, and Manchester City have got a second goal on the night. Phil Foden, who hasn't started too many matches, just tonight and the one against Watford last week, but he's on the score sheet after 15 minutes, and he will be delighted that his season is up and running. Cody Drummer has scored for Hull City away at QPR, and Jurdy Shooten has got PSV in front in the Champions League against Sporting. Here it's goalless, and Nuno Mendes is back on his feet again.
Yeah, he tried to play a little 1-2, and Saka just hold his body position, didn't let him go past him, and a bit theatrics, went down like he'd been, do you know what I mean, like he'd been poleaxed, and that wasn't the case.
Are you suggesting it was dark arts? Is that
yes, exactly what I'm suggesting.
Is that what you're saying, is it? Right, okay. Here is Nuno Mendes, left full-back position, clipping the ball up into midfield, flicked on by Barcola, who's come a little bit narrower there into the side of the centre circle. There's no one behind him, and it's an easy tidy up for Gabriel, who gets the ball back to his goalkeeper, immediately launches it upfield into an advanced position, and that tactic which got them in early in the game when Raya sent the ball over the top of the defence and Martinelli clashed with Donnarumma. but this time there was no one to get on the end of it. PSG try to play their way out of the back, and Doué is a little bit over-aggressive with his pass out into Hakimi, and it goes out for a throw into Arsenal. Halfway inside PSG's half of the field, 0-0.
Because PSG are playing with that false 9 and Kang In Lee, I almost feel like Arsenal can step onto them, because if you go and press them, the only outlet they've got is to kick it long, and they've not got a centre forward. So if you do that, then you pick up the second balls, and then Arsenal can get on the front foot and really play. So the moment it's at the back there with Donnarumma or Nuno Mendes or Pedro Marquinhos, go and step on them, make them go a bit longer, because as you can see quite clearly now, Saliba's marking no one, Gabriel's 1v1, go and step onto them and make it really difficult for them to play out.
Nuno Mendes under pressure from Saka, as he does just that, Saka, and just pushes the ball down the touchline out for a goal kick away to our right hand side. They've got players who don't mind being aggressive in the press, and actually as they look to try and play out from the goal kick here, Arsenal have got 2 right on the 18-yard line, and then 3 backing those 2 up as well, forcing in a sense Donnarumma to go long to Kang In Lee. He can't keep hold of it, and it bounces off him straight into Jurrien Timber.
And that's what I'm talking about with Saliba and Gabriel, 2 powerful presences at the back. Go and squeeze the press, go right up in their faces and let them play direct like they did there, because you win the ball back every single time.
Trossard, lovely turn away in midfield from João Neves and out towards the near side. Timber onto Saka. Saka a yard in from the right touchline, level with the edge of the penalty area. Havertz goes on the overlap, gets to the byline, pulls the ball through the 6-yard box. There's no one there to finish it, and it's cleared away by Hakimi and out towards this near side. It was a dazzling little run from Kai Havertz. He ruffled a few feathers yesterday when he suggested that if he wins the Champions League with Arsenal, it'll mean more to him than winning it with Chelsea, as he did back in Porto in 2021. And he certainly ruffled a few feathers in the PSG backline there, Darren Bent.
Great play between Saka and Havertz, who goes on the overlap and he rolls it across, but Martinelli's movement is so good. He goes in and he takes 1 step backwards and he's on the penalty spot on his own, but Havertz doesn't see him. I mean, it's a nice pass across, but if he looks up, Martinelli's free.
Havertz trying to get beyond Nuno Mendes, who robs him of possession, tries to play it into Kang In Lee, and there is Thomas Partey to screen it, and Kang In Lee turns round to Nuno Mendes and says, just calm down, don't rush it, try and be less eager with your balls forward. But Arsenal, after giving up 1 or 2 little moments early in the first 15 minutes, have started to take control of this game. 0-0, 19 minutes gone.
Well, they've really started to step onto PSG now and not let them play. I think at first, the first maybe 10 minutes, they allowed PSG to get the ball down. I didn't really go on the press, but the moment the last, say, 5 minutes they've gone real full force and pressed them, they've won the ball back every single time.
Trossard's looking brilliant. He's taken out one player and got to the edge of the penalty area. He gets towards the edge of the box and sends a cross into Havertz, who gets there and scores, rising high above Donnarumma, getting there before the goalkeeper and heading it beyond him into an empty net. And Arsenal are here not just to make the numbers up, but to compete. They've shown that already tonight, and it's taken them less than 20 minutes to get in front.
The goal is all about Leandro Trossard, who does fantastically well to hold the ball up. He drives with it, he cuts up. He could play the simple pass, which is to Caliafori. He doesn't. He gets his head up from just outside the penalty box and he puts it into an area, and Kai Havertz is so brave because he'll know Donnarumma's coming, full force to punch it, to clear him out. He gets up really, really early, and that's the key. That doesn't allow Donnarumma to come and get the ball. But once he's up there, he's brave. He gets his head to it, and in that type of situation, in the 6-yard box, all it needs is a touch. You don't need to generate any power, let it hit your head, flick off the top of your head, and it's in the empty net, and he does that. It's a fantastic header from a fantastic cross from Kai Havertz.
That's a brilliant run from Trossard, an excellent delivery from Trossard, and a towering header by Kai Havertz, who knew exactly where that was going to land, launched himself at it. I wonder whether or not Donnarumma maybe could have been a little bit more aggressive with his hands there as that ball landed on the head of Havertz, or did he just notice that, as we, I think, could from our vantage point here at the back of the bottom tier, Havertz was favourite for it as that ball came in. It was just positioned so perfectly for him.
Well, usually it's a free shot from goalkeepers. In that type of situation, goalkeepers will come out and wipe who's ever in that area, and that's why it's brave, because a lot of centre forwards, myself included, would have gone up there and gone, absolutely not, with him behind me. But Kai Havertz is brave. He goes up really early and just holds his position. But as I said, the key is he knows exactly where the goal is. He doesn't try to generate the power. He lets it hit his head and knows, if I get it in a certain area, it's a goal. And he does that, and it's fantastic. But he needs to thank Leandro Trossard, who was brilliant in that goal.
Absolutely. Scott Sinclair scores for Bristol Rovers. They lead Charlton by a goal to nil. Notts County are 2-0 up away at Carlisle. And MK Dons lead Harrogate Town by a goal to nil. Tommy Lee with the goal after 35 minutes. 1-0 here. Arsenal in front. Kai Havertz with the goal. He scored it after just 20 minutes of the game. And it's a perfect start for Arsenal. After a little storm early in the game, they rode that and then they come roaring back. And it was a really good, well-crafted chance. And I thought Trossard had started the game brilliantly, and then he came up with the magic moment so far. Evading two players, carrying the ball brilliantly, at speed as well, and getting up into a crossing position and providing a pinpoint one. Martinelli has got it back from Trossard on halfway as they turn the ball over on the halfway line. Arsenal, they come racing down the left. Marquinhos goes out to meet him. Doué's got back as well. Calafiori trying to keep it in, can't do so. It's out for a throw-in over on the far side. 22.5 minutes played on Talksport. Luton 2-0 up now. Victor Boniface has scored for Bayer Leverkusen. They're 1-0 up against Milan. Tom Krause got the goal for Luton, who are leading against Oxford United in the Championship tonight. Back here in the Champions League, in the league phase, Arsenal really want to add 3 points to the point they picked up in Atalanta. A game, Darren Bent, where they were a little bit disappointing, I think, at times.
Really flat. No real pattern to play. The players look tired as well. I do think Mikel Arteta got his team selection wrong. I thought he could have gave maybe 1 or 2 more minutes. But listen, they left there with a point, and if they can build on that tonight, 4 points from the first 2 games, you go, that's a good start in this Champions League. Because I still expect, even if they don't win tonight, with the games they've got coming up and this new phase Champions League, I expect Arsenal to qualify.
Yeah, in that game they only had 9 touches in the opponent's penalty area, which was the fewest number that they've had in a Champions League encounter since 2014. Rice tidies up in midfield, gets it back to Saliba. They've already had 1 significant touch inside the box tonight. They lead by a goal to nil. Kai Havertz with the goal after 20 minutes.
Do you know what is a big difference in this game, Sam, as well? Physicality. When you look at the size of Arsenal, they look powerful all over the pitch. And yes, PSG have got some nice technical players, the likes of Vitinha, Zaire Emery, João Neves. But look what they're up against. Declan Rice, big, powerful, 6 foot plus. Thomas Partey, 6 foot plus. Kai Havertz, as you saw with his goal, big physical specimen. I just think at the minute they're bullying PSG.
Cardiff lead Millwall by a goal to nil. Hull 2-0 up away at Queen's Park Rangers. Here is Zaire Emery out towards the right side, collected by Hakimi, back into João Neves. Hakimi again has got it, back to the halfway line, collected by Marquinhos, and now it's with Paco. Nuno Mendes on halfway, turning it back into the heart of the PSG defence, and PSG just trying to get a feel for the ball, trying to keep hold of possession, but Arsenal win it back again, and this time Gabriel stepped in front of Doué, nudged it back into midfield, and then all of a sudden Martinelli was racing away. Now they've got it forward, down on the left-hand side. Bradley Barcola goes on the chase. He gets in behind Julian Timber, gets into the penalty area, tries to roll the ball past him. Timber was having none of that. Says, I'll have that, thank you very much, and gets it clear. Gets it up to Leandro Trossard, who held it up really well, was getting contact from behind by Paco, and that's going to be a free kick deep inside the Arsenal half of the field. But Julian Timber keeping his eye on the ball as Bradley Barcola was trying to take him down the touchline with 1 or 2 little elaborate flicks.
He did, yeah, and he weren't letting him past him. And again, Timber has been really impressive this season so far. He almost fancies it. The first couple of challenges they've had, he got stuck into him, got behind him, put him under pressure, and Barcola was struggling. But PSG at the minute are a little bit predictable, Sam, because, and one thing that doesn't make sense is Kang In-lee. He's dropping him really deep, but there's no runners in behind. Like Barcola staying wide, you've got Doué staying wide. None of them are really asking the question of Arsenal by running in behind or chasing anything. Everything's straight lines into feet.
Yeah, it's left actually quite a lot of Paris Saint-Germain supporters asking the big question, why did you spend all that money on Randall Kolo Muani if you're just going to leave the big number 9 on the bench all the time, which is what they're doing at this moment in time. They are adapting to life without Kylian Mbappe. They're opening 6 league games of the season. They're undefeated in Ligue 1, 5 wins, 1 draw. They've scored 20 goals, an average of 3.5 a game thus far, pretty much. They're a team that want to dominate every phase of play. They have a very clear intention, and that is to keep the ball, build. When they don't have it, they want to win it back straight away. They're really aggressive in that, and they confront you, and they're up in your grill. But as Darren has already pointed out, it's very different being up in your grill when you are 5'4", 5'7", when you're Thomas Partey and Declan Rice. What's wrong with the up in your grill? You're not having that?
No, I love that. I never thought I'd heard that on a Talksport commentary, but I like it. Yeah. Up in the grill.
It's tickled some people, that's all I'm going to say. Off to the Stadium of Light. There's been a goal there for Graham Courtney.
Yeah, the House Sunderland 1, Derby County 0. Really good build-up. 35 minutes gone. A counter-attack by Sunderland. Sirkin found Joe Bellingham, and he's blasted it in from 18 yards out. Sunderland 1, Derby County 0.
Good ball by Kang-in Lee, squirming it out from underneath one of the Arsenal players and then sending it beautifully out to the far side. But Doué's touch back to Hakimi meant he had to check his run, and it just slowed the pace of the attack as the result.
And that's the problem, because Kang-in Lee, he's been so intelligent dropping into those little pockets just beside Thomas Partey, but when he does that, no one's running behind. So at the minute, you've got Gabriel and you've got Saliba pretty much marking nobody because there's no movement. And I think for Luis Enrique, looking at this, that's something you've got to change, because at the minute they're not really offered a threat.
Nuno Mendes gets the wrong side of Saka and then shoots towards the far corner and hits the base of the post. Well, he robbed the ball there, got around Saka. Saka lost him. He got to the edge of the penalty area. He burst to the 18-yard line and drove a shot left-footed. The last time he had a shot from the edge of the box, it went miles wide. This one thumped the base of the post. That's a warning shot.
It is, yeah. It's a great play, to be fair. 1-2. Saka not going with his runner. It's a nice little 1-2 between Mendes and Barcola, and Saka just loses him. But it's a great strike. He's always going away from goal, but he does clip the bottom of the post. But again, that's just a warning sign, because Arsenal have been comfortable defensively, but one or two moments where PSG have caused them problems.
David Raya was at full stretch, and he wouldn't have got there had it nestled a couple of inches inside that post. 1-0 the score, 29 minutes gone. I think they will miss Dembele tonight, despite the fact that he has that ability to be absolutely brilliant and terrible in the same movement.
But it's that pace, isn't it? That's one thing you can't mark in the modern day, is pace, and that's something he's got a bundle of, and the fact that he can go either way because he's two-footed.
Yeah, he's an asset, but he's not going to be an asset tonight. They've decided to leave him out. He has got 4 goals in 6 league games this season. Oh, poor from Rice, who's got the ball and driven into the opponent's half of the field. He got midway inside the PSG half, went to release it to the right-hand side, and I think he just sort of scuffed it. It went straight to a PSG defender and all the way back to Donnarumma. Another goal in Dortmund for David Tanner.
30 minutes gone. It's now Borussia Dortmund 3, Celtic 1. Karim Adeyemi scoring his second of the night, and an absolute howitzer from about 20 yards out. Borussia Dortmund 3, Celtic 1.
Celtic in a spot of bother. They scored a hell of a lot of goals last week against Slovan Bratislava. I did that game last week, and it was a really good performance from Brendan Rodgers' team, but it was always going to be difficult to go to the Westfalen Stadion, the Signal Iduna Park, and try and replicate that performance. Bratislava, as we're already hearing tonight, on the end of another big result going against them. They've got Manchester City tonight, who lead by 2-0 over on Talksport 2. Here is Doué with Hakimi outside him. He's tried to thread the ball to him, and the Moroccan is now cantering up into the penalty area. He's beaten Calafiori for pace. Into the box he goes, and Raya has to make a good save down to his near post to put it behind. It was a really good run by Hakimi, and Doué actually put a really good pass into his path down in the right channel, in between the centre-back and full-back, and he was faster than Calafiori there.
Calafiori couldn't live with him, and it's great place from Hakimi getting down that outside, but it's a lovely ball from Doué as well. But I think once he gets to Hakimi, he just chooses the wrong option, and when he goes for the near post, to shoot for the near post, and David Raya's there, he would have been better flashing it across, and maybe it deflected off someone, or Bradley Barcola was there to put it in the empty net.
Oxford have got one back at Kenilworth Road. Here's the corner in towards the near post, headed away by Gabriel. Drops on the edge of the penalty area. Saka does well to get it out of the box. Saliba under a little bit of pressure here from Doué, who's pushing him down towards the corner flag on the PSG left, but Saliba did well, and Trossard got it to the halfway line. Vitinha then takes it down and turns it back to Donnarumma, and it remains 1-0 to Arsenal. And Arsenal, who managed a load of shots at the weekend, 36 of them against Leicester, more than any game they've been involved in since records began. Haven't had too many shots tonight, but they have had the shot that counts. Just one attempt on target and 1 goal so far, and they lead through Kai Havertz's strike after 20 minutes. There's been a goal in the EFL Cup. Steve Harmison.
It's Newcastle 1, Wimbledon 0. It's Fabian Schär, captain for the night from the penalty spot. 2 attempts or 2 appeals for a penalty for Newcastle, neither given by the referee. Assistant waves his flag, he's overruled him, points the spot. The Switzerland international scores Newcastle 1, Wimbledon 0.
Thank you very much. That's Steve Harmison at St James's Park. That rearranged match has gone from Plough Lane to Newcastle because of a sinkhole which opened up after flooding at Plough Lane last week, and it meant that the Wimbledon pitch was unplayable. They switched it to the north-east. They're going to split the gate receipts, which is great for Wimbledon, and it means that Newcastle get home advantage, and they are taking advantage of that this moment in time. Fabian Schär with the only goal so far. 1-0 to Arsenal here, but here comes the visitors, and it's picked up by Zaire Emery, who's cantering forward down that right-hand side, trying to get into the advanced position, gets to the byline, tries to pull the ball across, he's blocked off by big bag Gabriel, and it goes behind and away for a goal kick. They like that, the Arsenal fans.
I mean, that's what you're talking about, physicality. Gabriel getting his body in and not allowing them to
get up in their grill.
Exactly. As you'd say, yeah, up in their grill, but no, defensively really well. But Martinelli started off the game really sharp, and I'm just thinking now, can he not get himself more into the game? Because there's times, because Hakimi's so high, he's left 1v1 with Marquinhos, and I'm thinking, just put it in behind, just leave it in there, let Martinelli get after it, because if he gets past Marquinhos into that area, there's no way Marquinhos is catching him.
Morecambe 1, Bradford City 0 at half-time. Walsall 2-0 up against Fleetwood. Queen's Park Rangers got one back against Hull City. Nicholas Madsen with the goal. Half-time, Cambridge and Rotherham 0-0. Grimsby 1 up away at Gillingham half-time. Accrington 1-0 up away at Cheltenham half-time. And Mansfield 1, Crawley 0 away from home. It's half-time there as well. Off to turf or in just a second, but Saka has the ball on the right side. Trossard played it down the right wing position as Arsenal look at it. They try and get beyond Nuno Mendes. He does well to stop Saka from getting down the side, and then he wrestles with him and gives away a free kick. It's going to be an Arsenal set piece on this right-hand side, floating it in. And this is our first real look on Arsenal attacking set piece, Darren Bent. Let's go off quickly to John Dunn at Turf Moor and get half-time.
Half-time, Burnley 1, Plymouth 0. A penalty by Josh Brownhill 25 minutes after a clumsy challenge by Darko Gyabi on Josh Cullen. For Burnley, could have been more. They have been dominant, but it's just the one at the break. Burnley 1, Plymouth 0.
So there was an article in L'Équipe this morning flagging up Arsenal's rather physical way of sorting themselves out from set pieces. Nicolas Jauvin is now standing on the edge of the technical area, organising his strategy for this particular set piece. The free kick is on the touchline on this near side the right. It's about 5 yards down the side of the penalty area. They're backloading the penalty box with 5 bodies at the far edge of it, and there are 7 PSG men marking zonally in front of them. Gabriel obviously is one of them. Now they start to split and move, and the ball has gone towards the near post. It's missed by Martinelli, it's knuckled away in. It's another set-piece goal. It's a Saka goal. It's an Arsenal goal, and it's another brilliantly choreographed, well-worked routine by Arsenal from the set-piece. And it's Arsenal 2, PSG 0. And PSG have been outfoxed again.
Well, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. First of all, the ball from Saka isn't a great one, but clearly they've worked in it, because the moment his hand goes up, they all make that run to the front post. And when as Saka puts it in, he doesn't really put too much pace on it. He almost leaves it at the near post. It bounces, and Martinelli's got a big role to play in it, because as it goes past him, he jumps over it and leaves it. And I can't quite see who it flicks off at the end, but it's really intelligent. It's really, really intelligent. I think Thomas Partey might get a look at it.
Touch anyone.
But it's really intelligent, because he doesn't smash it. He leaves it in that near post area, and everyone almost leaves it. And Donnarumma, who's unsighted, can't see it, and it just bounces into that far corner. But it's a really well-worked goal from Arsenal.
Bukayo Saka, take a bow, fella. That is your goal. And he has been directly involved now in 8 goals in 6 Champions League home games for Arsenal. The most by any male Arsenal player through their first 6 home games in the competition. And it was a terrific delivery into the near post. Martinelli jumped over it. The PSG players completely pushed. And do you know what the best thing about that was? Is that you know that was strategically worked on, because they loaded the back edge of the penalty area, then they split and ran towards the near post. Martinelli came across in front of the first defender, skipped over it. Donnarumma was all dizzy, didn't know what to do with his hands, and the ball had gone past him before he'd realised.
And that's the thing, because Saka, when he puts his hand up, they all kind of sprint to that near post, but he doesn't really whip it or put that much power on it. He just leaves it in that area, and Martinelli, I'm guessing it's his assignment, he gets across the near post first, he jumps over it, and after that it's just chaos. I mean, Thomas Partey's in there, Gabriel's in there, I think Saliba's in there as well, and it just almost bounces into that far corner with no real power or pace. But as you said there, Sam, you can quite clearly see they've worked on that.
I watched PSG a couple of times last season. I saw them at home, and they were good at home against Newcastle, but I also did them at St James's Park, and they were dreadful, and they can collapse like a pack of cards. Let's hope that happens tonight. Here is Saka down the right-hand side, trying to get into the penalty area. Across comes the defender, Nuno Mendes, and then it's cleared away. You're listening to Arsenal 2, PSG 0 on Talksport in the Champions League live with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes. If you've got a plan, they've got a van. Let's go off to the Stadium of Light. Half-time for Graham Courtney.
Yeah, Sunderland 1, Derby County 0, and Sunderland have grown into this game. Mundell and Isidore have gone close. 40th minute, though, Joe Bellingham blasting in from the edge of the box. Terrific goal. Sunderland 1, Derby County 0.
Saka from a throw-in deep inside PSG territory. On the attack again. Takes it down and tries to face up Vitinha. Low cross into the near post. Oh, Trossard got there, but so did Donnarumma. And at that near post, right at the foot of it, Trossard was denied by Donnarumma, who just about got enough on it this time around, Darren Bent.
Great movement from Trossard as well, because Saka does well, and he's done that really well all season, where you think he's going to go on his left, and he just drops his shoulder and goes towards the byline, and he just fires it across, and Trossard gets there early, and I think it's quite a good save from Donnarumma, because I think he gets there first.
It was a lovely little body swerve initially, and he just does just enough. And if he's questioned actually for the 2 goals that have been conceded, he's made a good stop there. Barcelona go 3-0 up against Young Boys. Inigo Martinez with the goal. Inigo Martinez, he's the guy that stole Scott Minto's Champions League record, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah. Fastest own goal in Champions League history.
Why are you bringing it up for? You're better than that. I hope Scotty's not listening.
I only said it because I know that he is. Hey, listen, at least he played in the Champions League, eh, Daz?
Oh, honestly, what's going on here?
6 minutes to go before half-time. Sorry, I was getting up in your grill then, wasn't I?
Yeah. How many times are you trying to get that in?
I don't know. It's because it made you laugh the first time, you know. It's a tactic. Here is Nuno Mendes down the near side. You're listening to Talk Sport. Arsenal in front thanks to Kai Havertz's brilliant header after an excellent bit of work from Trossard, who went down the left-hand side, took out 2 players, floated a brilliant cross into the box. It was a great leap from Havertz, got there ahead of Donnarumma. Maybe Donnarumma should have been more aggressive with it, but he wasn't. Havertz took advantage. The free kick from this near side, it's another set piece from Arsenal. They're so good at them, they're so well crafted. And with his left foot, he curled the ball into the near post. Everybody missed it. Martinelli jumped over it. That was the plan. It outfoxed the defence. It went past Donnarumma, and it's 2-0 to Arsenal. We'll get to St James's Park in just a moment, where it's half-time there. Havertz has picked it up, though, on the near touchline, inside opposition territory. He's fed Saka, who's gone past one player and then tried to go past the second, almost slipped. The ball came back to him inside the area from Trossard, who popped it into him. The offside flag went up anyway, but it was a quick-fire Arsenal move. So let's go off to the game down at St James's Park and get half-time from Steve Harmison.
It's Newcastle 1, Wimbledon 0. Fabian Schär penalty. The difference between the two sides in front of 52,000 sell-out crowd. Newcastle have 84% possession, but they've been nowhere near fluid. It took 44 minutes to break the deadlock. A penalty which was asked for twice by Newcastle, neither given by the referee. The assistant referee puts his flag up, points the spot, and Fabian Schär made no mistake from the spot. Bruno Guimaraes is getting warmed up. Looks like he's coming on at half-time, and he probably will be the difference of control in the game, because Newcastle, as much as the possession they've had, haven't really been in too much control. Newcastle 1, Wimbledon 0.
Arsenal leading 2-0 against PSG as we approach half-time in the Champions League tonight. Borussia Dortmund 4, Celtic 1. David Tanner.
And it's another penalty kick. Arne Engels clumsily tackled Karim Adeyemi. Serhu Guirassy scored the penalty, which Kasper Schmeichel almost got to. Borussia 4, Celtic 1, 41 minutes played.
Zaire Emery for PSG tries to flick across into the box. It takes a deflection, scoops up into the arms for David Raya, the Arsenal goalkeeper, who will smother it and clear it away. And it's been a very good performance, I think, this from Arsenal.
You know, when you look at the two managers as well, you look at Luis Enrique, you'd almost think that they were winning, because you look at Mikel Arteta and he is screaming at his team, even though they're 2-0 up, to get back, get into position, get on the ball. He's really animated on that sideline. You're thinking, calm down, you're winning 2-0. Whereas Enrique just there, relaxing, because for me, PSG have been really poor this first half. Yes, they've had their moments hitting the post and one or two situations which Arsenal caused their own problems, but defensively and certainly possession in midfield, they've been absolutely run all over.
45 goals from set pieces since the arrival of Nicolas Jover. Who says you don't need a set piece, coach, eh?
It's fine margins as well, because that goal there really, that shouldn't go in. Saka doesn't whip it hard, he just leaves it in a little area, everyone misses it and it goes into that far corner. I mean, it's a really well worked goal.
Arsenal 1, Paris Saint-Germain 0. There's a foul on Bukayo Saka on this near side. He's gone down, he's just got back to his feet. He wasn't hurt. That's it. It's generated another set piece for Arsenal. Saka's got straight back up and now just getting ready to take this free kick. He's got Declan Rice alongside him. Both of them good exponents of the art of a terrific delivery.
I would hate his free kicks from this area, because it's quite straight. What is it? 20 yards from the halfway line. It's in the width of the penalty box. It's hard to kind of create an angle from there to put it in.
Well, there's a high line from PSG here, and 4 Arsenal players are standing behind it, and Martinelli is trying to outfox them by pretending to do his shoelace up, which he's now been doing for 2 minutes, and if he's still doing it, then he needs to go back to school to learn how to do it up properly. But it's definitely a ruse, because he's going to try and run in behind them as the ball drops over the top. He's got back to his feet now. Saka then plays it short to Declan Rice, and then it is sent over the top, and it was aimed towards Trossard, and it's exactly what I was saying, that those two players, Trossard and Martinelli, went running in between the PSG high line and tried to get on the end of a long ball which was dripped over the top. We have got to go half-time somewhere. Where is it? We're going to Carrow Road. Mike Shield.
Norwich City 1, Leeds United 0. It's been fast, it's been physical, feisty and at times frenetic. The only goal scored by Josh Sargent from the penalty spot after 16 minutes. He was brought down by Joe Rodon inside the Leeds penalty area. Other than that, Leeds have had the best chances. Nonto has hit the post and forced a save from Angus Gunn after being put clean through. Norwich 1, Leeds 0 at half-time.
Back in November 2016, Borussia Dortmund were involved in the highest scoring Champions League game of all time. They might be again tonight. Here's Talksport's David Tanner.
42 minutes gone. It's now Borussia 5, Celtic 1. Karim Adeyemi scores a hat-trick, 3 goals in 31 minutes for him. Celtic are all over the place. Borussia 5, Celtic 1.
Now, my producer back in London is telling me that it is a hat-trick of screamers. High-class hat-trick from Adeyemi.
That's that goal difference wiped out from last week.
After winning 5-1, they're now losing 5-1. Yeah. The only difference being that it's only half-time, which is a bit of a worry for Celtic. I'm really interested to see how Luis Enrique, who is a very good tactician, deals with this situation. We've mentioned the physicality of Arsenal and how good they are at sort of almost bullying PSG. But I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that there's no real physical presence in the front line for them to sort of launch the ball to, hold it up, try and sort of use him as a platform to build on. And with Randall Kolo Muani on the bench, that's the perfect option to sort of build from, isn't it? Would you not expect him to make an appearance at half-time?
I would, because at the minute, as you said there's no real physicality in terms of a PSG focal point.
Here's Nuno Mendes trying to weave his way to the edge of the penalty area. He gets a return ball from Zaire Emery. He's moved out to his left-hand side, but it's too heavy and floats behind and goes out for a goal kick away to our left. We've hit half-time and we're just waiting for the extra minute that has been added on at the end of the first 45 to elapse. Interestingly, Paris Saint-Germain haven't scored with any of their last 71 shots in the Champions League. They beat Girona last time out thanks to a late own goal. The last PSG player to score in the Champions League, Kylian Mbappe, April the 16th last year.
They definitely miss a cutting edge. Without certainly Girona the first game, they should have won that by 6 or 7, and they just have their shooting boots on. And tonight here, they've not really got themselves into a position to score.
No, Arsenal have though, twice. And after their draw in Bergamo, Arsenal are heading for their first win of the new league phase thanks to 2 goals, one from Kai Havertz, another one from a set piece crafted by Saka, really inventively executed by the entirety of that front line that lined up for the free kick on this near side. Saka's goal though, it belongs to him, and who would have thought that Arsenal might score from a set piece? I mean, they even advertised it in L'Equipe this morning. At the breaks, Arsenal 2, PSG 0.
Yeah, it's comfortable for Arsenal, Darren Bent. You have to say that. And let's talk about that first goal, because I think it's absolutely brilliant. Kai Havertz, I mean, he's prepared to get himself hurt to score for the Arsenal. That's exactly what those fans want.
Yeah, it is. He gets up, and I think the key is, Aid, he gets up so early that Donnarumma's almost forced that. He'd probably like to come out and take everything out and claim the ball, but he can't because Kai Havertz has got his body positioned in such an intelligent way and got up so early that he almost knows where the goal is. So as it hits his head, he just thinks, if I can get any kind of direction on it, Donnarumma's behind me, it's going to be a goal. But he needs to thank Leandro Trossard, because he has been this first half exceptional. And for that first goal there, holding off one of the midfield players and leave it in an area for Havertz to come on and score, it was brilliant.
Do you know what, the Trossard one, this is where you can spot the difference between the very, very good players and the truly elite players. And I'm putting Trossard in there because he's on the ball, he's about to deliver an in-swinger into the box with his right foot, and then he delays it, and I'm watching it thinking, what's he waiting for? And then when you watch it back, you realise he's waiting because Kai Havertz has to delay his run. So that when he takes a step, delays the cross, then eventually puts it in, it's perfectly timed. You've got to be truly top level to spot that and execute it.
Yeah, you're right, mate. And another thing about that as well is that he could choose the safe option, because Thomas Partey is square of him. He could just go into Thomas Partey and then go himself and then get himself into the box. But as you said there, he waits just a split second for Kai Havertz to get into that area. And as I said, he delivers it into a perfect area where defender can't get it, goalkeeper can't get it, but Kai Havertz gets up early, and it's a really good goal from Arsenal.
It is. The second one, I think you're all giving Arsenal a little bit too much, and Nicolas Javert a little bit too much credit here. Donnarumma's terrible, mate. I mean, he's made himself small. You know how Schmeichel used to make himself big? He's made himself small. He's a massive man. He looks like he's a 2'4", boy in goal. And he's got no reactions whatsoever, no agility whatsoever. It's truly terrible goalkeeping. Sure, a load of players run across him and all that, but seriously, he has to get hands on that ball, surely.
Do you know what? I do wonder if he's fit as well, because he hasn't looked his usual sharp self. Even the one when Martinelli hit him early, he was quite slow up his line, and the Kai Havertz header where he doesn't really come or anything, doesn't do anything. But that goal there, I'm going to give him a little bit of slack, because I do think the ball from Saka, he doesn't really fire it in there. He just leaves it into that near post area. And when you've got 4 or 5 bodies flying across you, what you need is one of your defenders to just clear it or get their body in the line of the ball. No one really does anything. So in the end, when you look back at it from a defensive perspective, it's really poor from every single one of the PSG players, not just the goalkeeper, but the defenders in front of him as well.
Yeah, PSG have been poor. Just a couple of little moments for them. Hakimi completely ruining Calafiori on that right-hand side, but no end product with it. Easy save for David Raya at his near post. And before that, Nuno Mendes hitting the post. Bukayo Saka, for that, has lost Nuno Mendes completely. He can't really afford to be doing that, Bukayo Saka. I know he's brilliant, we all love him, but he can't. He's got his defensive work to do as well.
Do you know what he has, Aid? And there was a moment, I think after about 20 minutes, where he tried to be a little bit too clever on the edge of his own box, and he tried to dribble the ball inside, and it got robbed. And if Brandy Barcola's a little bit sharper, he probably has a shot from just inside the box. But to be fair, Trossard gets himself back into that defensive situation and blocks it. But as you said there as well, with that little 1-2 from Mendes, you've got to be sharper, get your body in, don't let him pass you. And that's probably one of the only times you'd have to say that PSG really caused Arsenal a problem, because other than that, Arsenal have been so comfortable.
In control. Darren Bent, take a break. Arsenal 2, PSG 0, live on Talksport in the Champions League at half-time at the Emirates. I'm going to run through all the latest scores for you. Second halves getting underway up and down the country in the EFL. Man City over on Talksport 2, lead by 2-0. Ilkay Gundogan's first one, that was deflected. Phil Foden, he kind of started the move and finished it with a lovely, controlled side foot curler. It was a typical Phil Foden goal. Pep Guardiola said he'd be back. He is back. They've had about 80% possession in that first half, Man City, all over Slovan Bratislava. Second half is live on Talksport 2. Dortmund have been all over Celtic as well. The Scottish champions have been a mess in the first half. David Tanner.
Borussia Dortmund 5, Celtic 1, and it's only half-time. Celtic are being given the type of lesson that they themselves are used to dishing out. They are being torn apart at the back by the pace and power of the Borussia attack, with Karim Adeyemi scoring a blistering hat-trick. England under-21 international Jamie Giddens was hauled down by Kasper Schmeichel in 6 minutes, with captain Emre Can opening the scoring from the spot. Celtic equalised just 2 minutes later through Daisen Maeda, but 2 minutes after that, Karim Adeyemi scored his first via the boot of defender Austin Trusty. Borussia's third came from Adeyemi. The fourth was a penalty from Serhou Guirassy. The fifth, 2 minutes after that, was from Karim Adeyemi. He got his hat-trick when he picked the pocket of Arne Engels to score with a fizzing effort. It's all going horribly wrong for Celtic. No way back for them at half-time, but it's Borussia 5, Celtic 1.
It's a brilliant hat-trick from Adeyemi as well. 5-1 to Borussia Dortmund, and Celtic all over the place. Wickham are taking the lead at Barnsley. Besler Bala, who's been excellent this season, has got the goal. Barnsley 0, Wickham 1, and Reading 2 up against Burton Albion in League 1. That is an 8 o'clock kickoff. It's also an 8 o'clock kickoff at the Hawthorns. They're still playing in the first half. West Brom 0, Middlesbrough 0. We'll be there for half-time next.
Kick-off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get money back as a free bet up to £10 if one leg of your Football 5 Plus acca lets you down. Pre-match straight line accas only. Odds are 3-1 or greater. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Idris Elba here. Being an actor, I find it pretty easy to switch. 1 minute I'm an impulsive detective. Next, a watchman of the gods. Then, a ferocious tiger. But nothing is easier than switching your broadband to Skyfall Fibre.
And you can chat to someone anytime, day or night, which comes in handy for DJ Idris.
Here comes advertising, Idris. Get Skyfall Fibre 300 for our lowest ever price, just £29 a month with no setup fees. Sky. Believe in better.
Price may change during 24-month term. £43 a month after. Ends 23rd of October. Average download 300 megabits per second. Speeds vary. Terms apply.
Or our daily free games for people playing on the train. Or the perfect amount of free spins you get when you play £10. Let me see. Oh, it's 30.
Get 30 free spins when you play £10. Virgin Games. Serious about play. Visit virgingames.com. 18 plus, UK only. New members only. Must opt in. Free spins on double bubble, 1p coin size, max size, 30-day expiry. Full rules at virgingames.com. Play responsibly. BeGambleAware.org.
Attention mustachioed masses of Britain! October the 31st is Movember Shave Down Day. The last chance to brave the shave before moustache growing season. Listen throughout the day as Team Talksport shave it off for Movember. So no more stubble trouble for steading. Ray Parlour's off to the barbers. And it's another close shave for Brussels, Brazil. Shave Down Day. October 31st on Talksport with Movember. The moustache is calling. Raise funds, save lives. Sign up now at Movember.com.
The Big Wicks event is now on. From tiles to flooring, doors, kitchens, bathrooms and more. We have everything you need to help you start your next home improvement project. Shop The Big Wicks event in store and online now.
The team sheets are out and the fans appear to be playing the free Coral Rewards Shaker. We've got the Glory Hunters hunting for rewards. Oh, they've won 50 free Coral coins. And here comes the full kit Fanatics. They're shaking too, and they've got themselves a free bet. Play our free Coral Rewards Shaker to win guaranteed daily rewards and offers this football season. Coral, we're here for it.
18 plus, UK only. Max 1 reward per player per day. Restrictions and T's and C's apply. Take time to think.
Champions League live on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs.
On 1089 and 1053 medium wave, on your mobile and on your smart speaker. Talk Sport.
It is second half underway here at Carrow Road. Norwich leads by a goal to nil. Coventry get a second against Blackburn. Hadji Wright, the USA international, with it. Coventry 2, Blackburn 0. And it is half time at the Hawthorns for Nikesh Ragani.
Yeah, it's West Brom 0, Middlesbrough 0, all level at the break, but Borough will wonder exactly how. West Brom have had more of the ball, but the visitors have had some great chances. Finn Azaz has had 2 himself, one a shot that was really well saved by Alex Palmer, the rebound put over the bar by Riley McGee, should have hit the target really. Emmanuel Latte-Lath also had a close-range header well saved. West Brom's only clear chance themselves was a Jed Wallace shot which was saved from close range. Carlos Corberán visibly frustrated with his side for most of that half. Incidentally, there were 8 minutes of stoppage time played following a delay when assistant referee Rob Smith was stretchered off after feeling unwell. He was conscious when he was taken off, and we of course wish him well. So at the break then, it's West Brom 0, Middlesbrough 0.
I'll run you through the EFL latest in just a moment, but let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get money back as a free bet up to £10 if one leg of your Football 5 Plus acca lets you down. Pre-match straight line accas only. Odds are 3-1 or greater. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
So Arsenal 2 up and comfortable against PSG at the Emirates. Second half coming up live on Talksport. Arsenal now 33-1 on to win. The draw is 16-1. PSG to win is 66-0-1. Kai Havertz to score next is 7-1. Gabriel to score ahead of 14-1. On Talksport 2, Slovan Bratislava 0, Man City 2. Erling Haaland to score next is 2-1. Jeremy Doku to score anytime is 3-1. Slovan Bratislava are now 250-1 to win the game. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Let's take you around the grounds in the Carabao Cup. First of all, St James Park. Here's Steve Harmison.
It's Newcastle 1, Wimbledon 0. 5 minutes into the second half. Newcastle had 85% possession in that first half, but didn't really look penetrating the goal too much. You know, Wimbledon defended very, very valiantly in that, and it wasn't until the 44th minute when Fabian Schär broke the deadlock with a penalty. Bruno Guimaraes has come on at half-time for Harvey Barnes. Newcastle again have got a lot more possession, but with Guimaraes in the middle of the field, it looks as though they've got somebody that can break the lines. And as it is, 7 minutes in, Newcastle 1, Wimbledon 0.
8 championship games tonight, one here at Carrow Road alongside me, Mike Sewell.
4.5 minutes played in the second half. It's still Norwich 1, Leeds United 0. Josh Sargent's penalty after 16 minutes divides the teams, but at the moment Leeds are enjoying the majority of the possession. Norwich have had to make a change at the start of the second half. Jose Cordoba, who was injured, as Leeds win a free kick just about a yard outside the penalty area on the right-hand side, which will be taken in a few minutes. Jose Cordoba was injured just before half-time. He's gone off injured to be replaced by Jack Stacey, meaning that Callum Doyle has dropped into the middle of the defence. Kellen Fisher has gone to left-back, and Stacey's gone to right-back. It's a bit of a reshuffle in defence for Norwich. Norwich lead 1-0.
Let's go to the Stadium of Light, Graham Corney.
Yeah, Sunderland 1, Derby County 0. Derby actually looked lively early on in this game. Marcus Harness bringing a really good save out of Anthony Patterson in the Sunderland goal. But Sunderland have slowly but surely, they've grown into the game. Mundell and Isidore, they both had shots that went slightly, one over, one wide. But in the 40th minute, Dennis Sirkin, he actually found Joe Bellingham blasted in from around about the edge of the box. Terrific goal, really good build-up as well. In this second 45, only one chance so far, and it is Wilson Isidore. This is his full home debut, by the way. He's fired it wide. Really good chance. It's one of those, he just seemed to slip when he pulled the trigger. But Sunderland, as it stands, they are going top of the table. Sunderland 1, Derby County 0.
From that Leeds free kick, ball bounced a bit and then they blazed it over the bar. Stays 1-0 to Norwich. What's going on at Turf Moor? John Dunn.
It's Burnley 1, Plymouth 0. Josh Brownhill's penalty 25 minutes in, his 4th of the season after a clumsy challenge from Darko Gyabi on Josh Cullen. In fairness, it could have been more. Koliosho, Anthony and Foster all went close in the first half. Burnley have dominated possession. They maybe should have had a second. They've dominated the early stages of the second half as well. Fair play to Plymouth. They've dug in, they've defended in numbers. Their only efforts coming from long range. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Burnley 1, Plymouth 0.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Cardiff, bottom of the table, are leading. Perry and G gave away a daft penalty at the weekend. He scored. Cardiff 1, Millwall 0. Coventry 2, Blackburn 0. Bidwell and Wright with the goals. Luton 2, Oxford 2. Luton were 2 up. Oxford have just equalised. Ruben Rodriguez with the equaliser. Norwich here lead Leeds 1-0. QPR 1, Hull City 2. West Brom goalless with Middlesbrough. Sunderland won up against Derby, as you've heard as well. League One, Barnsley have equalised against Wickham. Stephen Humphreys with the goal a moment ago, one apiece there. Birmingham still being held 0-0 at home by Huddersfield. Blackpool 0, Lincoln 0. Bristol Rovers lead Charlton 1-0. Mansfield won up at Crawley. Cambridge Rotherham is goalless. They've both underachieved at the start of the season. Exeter won up at Orient. Bolton 2 up at Northampton. Stockport lead at Shrewsbury through Ethan Pye's goal. Stevenage won up against Wrexham. And Wigan get a second against Peterborough. Dale Taylor scored for Wickham at Wembley against Peterborough last season. He's got 2 tonight as they lead 2-0. And Reading 2, Burton Albion 0. Keep you updated with the goals as they go in. Second half of Arsenal 2, PSG 0. Live on Talksport. Let's get back to the Emirates. Darren Bent and Sam Matface.
Thank you very much. Yes, this is the fourth meeting between PSG and Arsenal. PSG have never beaten them, but if they want to do so tonight, their task is going to be incredibly hard, because they will have to try and somehow come back from 2-0 down. There has been a goal already in the second half at the Stadium of Light. Graham Courtney.
Yeah, Sunderland extend their lead. Sunderland 2, Derby County 0. And on his full home debut, it is Wilson Isidore who's blasted it in from the corner of the 6-yard box. It's Sunderland 2, Derby County 0.
Jurrien Timber has been replaced at half-time by Jakob Kivior, which means that Calafiori has gone to right back at the start of the second 45. We'll get Darren Bent's assessment on that. We do hope it's not an injury for Jurrien Timber, who did speak yesterday about the amounts of demands on players' bodies in his press conference yesterday. Said he concurs with what Rodri said a couple of weeks before. He was out for so much of last season with that ACL injury. We hope he is okay at half-time. 2-0 the score then to Arsenal in those red shirts with white sleeves and white shorts. They're attacking the goal away to our left. Apparently I can't see it, but they are. That's because we've got a few latecomers back for the second half, Darren, who are in between us and the playing surface.
I'm about 6'1" or 2, so I've not got any problems looking over the top of
right, okay.
that goal. Yeah,
what are you trying to say?
Well, you know.
I'm a little bit PSG and you're a little bit Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of physicality. Fair enough. Raya is the goalkeeper. The right back Calafiori then. Saliba, Gabriel. The left back now is Jakob Kivior. Partey and Rice, the holders in midfield, with Saka, Trossard and Martinelli behind Havertz in attack. Barcola trying to get forward for PSG. Comes through to Hakimi. 50-50 challenge with Rice, which Rice comes away the victor in. And he brings it up into midfield, and Partey has it once again. Donnarumma is the PSG goalkeeper. Hakimi, Marquinhos, Bacho, Nuno Mendes the back four. Vitinha holding in midfield with João Neves and Zaire Emery as well alongside him. Doué on the right, Barcola on the left, and Kang In Lee playing as the false 9 for PSG tonight. It is Arsenal who lead by 2-0. What do you make of that substitution?
Well, it can only be an injury for Jurrien Timber, because I thought he played really well against Bradley Barcola. Didn't really give him much. Every single time Barcola tried to get past him, he was too strong for him. Timber got his body in, defended really well. So the only thing I could think of is that he's either carrying a slight knock or he's getting rested for the game at the weekend. But very strange. But what I will say is Arsenal now very left-footed heavy defensively. Gabriel, Kivior and Calafiori. But again, equally, stature, Jakob Kivior, 6'2", 6'3", really powerful outlet Arsenal this evening.
Yeah, and it's looked like that so far. They have bossed this game from the very start of it. Well, maybe 10 minutes in. Here is Achraf Hakimi, the Moroccan international, moving laterally along the edge of the 18-yard line, leaves it for Zaire Emery, goes back into midfield where it's collected by João Neves, across to Marquinhos, and then out to Kang In Lee, who's moved out into the right wing position, tries to attack Martinelli, produces a cross left-footed towards the back post. It's away by Calafiori. And it seems an odd tactic, actually, to sort of get the ball down the side of the penalty area and try and put a cross into the box when you've got literally 4 Statue of Liberties in the middle of the park.
That's the thing, that's what limits them as well, because they're getting into good areas, and Hakimi, they can quite clearly see he gets the ball onto his right foot from just outside the penalty box, and he wants to pull it in, but he almost looks up and sees Gabriel, Saliba, Calafiori, Jakob Kivior, Declan Rice gets himself back in there, and there's no real physical presence in there, and that's why I'm surprised we've not seen Kolo Muani yet, because again, he's someone who's big physical presence, scored I think a goal in the European semi-finals as well against Spain, but just they're lacking something, PSG, that focal point.
I wonder if we'll see Mikel Merino tonight. He's on the bench for the first time for Arsenal. We might get to see him in Arsenal colours for the first time at the Emirates Stadium this evening. He's warming up as we speak, and I just wonder whether or not this would be the perfect stage for him to have an introduction. Free kick to PSG, dead centre of the Arsenal half. It's taken by João Neves out towards Marquinhos on halfway. Immediately Arsenal start to press them, and they're forced backwards rather than forwards. Barcola tries to bring the ball infield and spin in behind, but it's blocked by Calafiori, and it repels to the far side. And they do look a little bit like a team that have been hit in the confidence area, PSG.
Yeah, they do, yeah. There's no lack of ideas, as you said, the lack of confidence, no real belief either. Even when they've got the ball in certain areas, wide players like Doué or Bradley Barcola, they're a little bit reluctant to go past the fullback. They take the easy option by playing backwards, and it's playing to Arsenal's hands at the minute.
Well, it's not like the game here the last time these two met 8 years ago, a game littered with own goals and penalties, finished 2-2. Champions League group stages, Olivier Giroud on the score sheet. The first game before that had seen both Verratti and Giroud sent off in the last minute, and Edinson Cavani score after just a few seconds of that game. The only time this fixture didn't finish in a draw, by the way, was the famous semi-final of the Cup Winners' Cup when Arsenal won by 1-0 in the second leg. Kevin Campbell, the great Kevin Campbell, with a goal in April 1994, and Arsenal would go on to lift their one and only European trophy, with Alan Smith scoring the winner in the final. Birmingham lead Huddersfield Town by 1-0, Alfie May. Port Vale 1-0 up against Colchester. Bolton 3-0 up away at Northampton, and Bristol Rovers 2-0 up now against Charlton. Come back from Fleetwood Town. They were behind. They're leading 3-2 now. Kenan Hughes with the goal after 57 minutes, and here it is 2-0 to the Arsenal. And here is Declan Rice. And one of the criticisms of Mikel Arteta is the use of his fringe players and bench players when they're in situations like this. Darren, get another goal, they should make changes. And Rice trying to lead the charge down the left side. He runs not 20, not 30, but 40, 50 yards with the ball. Thinks he's got a corner kick out of it. And then the fourth official remonstrating with Albert Stuyvenberg, who thinks that they should have got that corner kick. And the referee has said no, it's a goal kick to PSG.
I mean, Declan Rice has run a fully 60 yards there with the ball carried up the touchline, and for me it looked like a corner. It looked like he'd done enough to warrant the corner.
Oh, lovely little flick over his head by Trossard into Havertz. Volley from Martinelli, saved by Donnarumma. That would have been one of the best goals in the Champions League this season. Won by Partey after they tried to play out from the back, about midway inside the PSG half. He flicked it down the right. It was flicked up over the head of Saka into Havertz, who then volleyed it on to the edge of the penalty area where Martinelli was waiting. His right foot volley straight down the throat of Donnarumma. If that had gone in, we've been talking about like they were the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, what an attempt and what play from Havertz, but it's almost like for Martinelli, he gets it too clean. I think if he scuffs it a little bit, it probably goes into the corner and it's 3-0 Arsenal. The fact he caught it so flush, I think that's what gives Donnarumma a chance, because it ends up flying straight at him. But again, Arsenal winning the ball back high, and we spoke about it first half, Sam. That press, really go up then and try and win the ball back high. They do that and they create an opportunity.
Are Arsenal very, very good, or are PSG not at the level that you would expect PSG to be at?
A little bit of both, but also I'd say they're quite naive, PSG, because Arsenal have clearly stepped onto them, don't want them to play out from the back, and they still keep trying to do it, and that seems to be a theme.
Nuno Mendes into the penalty area with a left-footed cross, which is dealt with by Declan Rice, and it's cleared out towards the far side. PSG have lost each of their last 3 away games against English sides in the UEFA Champions League. They lost twice to Manchester City and once to Newcastle last season. Their 4-1 defeat at St James's Park was the heaviest defeat away at an English opponent in European competition. But the way this game certainly went in the first half, there's every chance that Arsenal could inflict another sizable defeat on them tonight. Let's go to Carrow Road. Another goal for Mike Sewell.
It's all square. Norwich 1, Leeds 1. Largi Ramazani with the finish after being set up by Willie Gnonto, who's been at the heart of everything for Leeds United, and they've been very, very dynamic in this match, and they've got into some good positions. They've finally made a breakthrough. Norwich 1, Leeds 1.
Arsenal win it back, try to play their way out. Partey makes a mistake, then tries to recover the ball after doing that, does get that, finds Trossard, he's fouled from behind, free kick, just 3 or 4 yards in from the left touchline on this near side, the Arsenal left, and Trossard's just taking a little bit of time because he's hurt his knee. What a chance for Martinelli that was. Saka pops it up into Trossard, over his head, onto Havertz, who flicked it on the half volley into the path of Martinelli. Either side of the goalkeeper, Darren Bent. And we'd have been talking about that goal for years.
Exactly that, because he catches it so flush and so full, straight down the throat of Donnarumma. I mean, if he gets a little bit less on it, or he just scuffs it even a little bit, either side of the goalkeeper, it finds itself in. But again, really good play from Arsenal, winning the ball back high up. Thomas Partey's gone about his work quietly this evening, but been really impressive, dominated the midfield. He's almost allowed Declan Rice to kind of be that number 8 and push it a little bit further forward. They've been impressive in that middle of the park.
Well, Arsenal needed to start putting points on the board in the Champions League. It's not the easiest of draw. They got Shakhtar Donetsk upcoming, then they go to the San Siro to take on Inter. They're away to Sporting, plus a very good young Monaco team that beat Barcelona 2 weeks ago. They've got Girona and Dinamo as well. And I was speaking to one of the Arsenal members of staff at half-time. We were saying, don't underestimate not only and I mentioned the mental sort of concentration that was required because of the intense nature of the first few fixtures they've had this season. That Atalanta game, the North London derby, the Manchester City game, this game. He said, think about the work that has to go into preparing for all these matches, because the Champions League is so different now. You used to have to prepare for 3 opponents, and that would take you through 6 match days. You've now got to prepare for 8 other teams. Ball on the left-hand side with Martinelli trying to get the cross in from the byline. It's blocked by Marquinhos and goes behind.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Sam. And even the Leicester game, that would have been one they would have gone, right, let's try and get this over the line comfortable. And that turned into something they had to really focus, really battle, come from obviously 2-0 up, then 2-2, then to really dig deep and go and get a win in that one as well. So it's been a really testing time for Arsenal. But at the minute, they're finding a way to get through, get points on the board and put performances in.
And they have a corner, their first of the game. And an opportunity for Declan Rice to try and craft something. Remember the first set piece that they had in the match, they scored from. Well, what will come from this? Declan Rice on the near side. It's a right footer. Again, they've backloaded the back post. And Gabriel is standing on the penalty spot, about a yard back from it actually, as the ball goes high in towards that back post area. Donnarumma, though, just jettisons his arms up into the air and grabs it, and I think that was a little bit disappointing from Arsenal. Quickly it's dispatched upfield by PSG. They try and bend it into the box from the left-hand side. It was not a great delivery from Doué, and it goes straight into the arms of David Raya. I think they're going to make a couple of changes now, PSG, in the next few minutes. I think Luis Enrique has seen enough, and he's going to make a change. Oh, that's not a great ball by Trossard. He's played it right across the edge of the 18-yard box. Cut out eventually by Gabriel and Saliba, and they'll slalom their way up the pitch over on the far side. Saka has it tight to the touchline. Comes infield, gives it away to Vitinha, and then it's on to the left-hand side of Nuno Mendes, who gallops forward. But he's played it behind Doué. And again, it's just that final pass, that final moment, lacking in quality and making the right decisions. But PSG just look a little bit substandard in comparison to their opponents.
Well, it almost looks like it's going to have to be a bit of magic, because as you said there, Mendes does the right thing. He drives with the ball and he's like, where's a pass? What's the option? What's next? And he almost runs into one of his own teammates, and it's like, well, what have they been working on training all week? Those type of situations.
Here is Saka over on the far side. Playing the ball down towards the left. It's collected by Martinelli. Martinelli then delivers across in towards Calafiori, and it's actually the head of Havertz who manages to nudge it down and towards the near post. It's stopped by Donnarumma this time and cleared upfield. Gabriel marshals, harasses, dispossesses Doué and puts the ball out over on the far side. That could have been a dangerous situation, and Gabriel put the fire out before it exploded.
Yeah, they're almost trying to PSG allow the wide players to cheat a little bit, because if you see now, they're not really doing their defensive work now. They're almost allowing both fullbacks from Arsenal, Calafiori and Jacob Kivior, to go forward and just leaving their 2 wide players up. So when they break, there's always like an overload on the other side, but Gabriel doing what he's done all season, just mopping up and making sure that he's got his body in the right position.
2-0. And 3-0 to Manchester City away from home. They lead against Slovan Bratislava over on Talksport 2. It's 3-0 now, the scoreline there. Barcelona 4-0 up, Leverkusen 1-0 up, and Manchester City getting their 3rd goal of the night. I'll give you one guess as to who managed to score it, Darren Bent.
Kyle Walker.
Just being playful, aren't you?
Yeah. Haaland.
Careful, I'll get up in your grill. I'll need a step ladder, but...
Yeah, true.
It is Erling Haaland. Here is Nuno Mendes over on the far side of PSG, trying to move up to the edge of the penalty area, cuts it back into Vitinha. He's a little bit lightweight as well, Vitinha. He's good on the ball, but he is a lot smaller than everybody else on the pitch, isn't he? He's tiny in comparison to the men that are around him. You know, Havertz, Partey, Rice. Physically, they just bully him off the ball if they need to. Here is João Neves, another diminutive midfield player. Plays it square and out to Marquinhos. Slender and long and striding forward, looking up. That physically imposing backline of Arsenal is so difficult to pierce at the best of times. But when you haven't got someone who can match them, it makes it even more difficult. Here's Achraf Hakimi down the right side, trying to get the crossing, blocked by Kivior. Spills out onto this near side, and Martinelli will get it clear. Luis Enrique was pretty complimentary about Arsenal yesterday in the press conference. He said they're one of the best teams in Europe, but they're probably the best team in the world without the ball. I mean, I know what it's like when coaches talk about other teams. They either refuse to talk about them or they get a little bit hyperbolic and start telling everybody how great they are. But, you know, they are a very good team without the ball. As Achraf Hakimi tries to go in between two defenders, then goes to ground. The fact that he didn't appeal suggests that he probably dived and was looking for it and didn't believe it himself. In fact, he's just apologised to Gabriel and it's gone out to the far side. You're listening to Arsenal 2, PSG 0 on Talksport with the Champions League live with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps 120,000 people every day. Darren Bent.
Yeah, that was good defending from Jakub Kiwior, because I thought Hakimi got the wrong side of him, but he managed to just get his toe in last minute. As Hakimi's about to take that touch at his feet, he gets a toe in, and it's a really good challenge. And as you said there, I mean, Hakimi doesn't even appeal for the penalty because it's just a great defending from Jakub Kiwior.
We're going to see Mikel Merino for the first time. It's the first time I've actually seen Mikel Merino since he did the splits and jumped with his legs wide apart, heading in a 119th minute winner for Spain against Germany.
Some header that was as well.
Just a bit. He's another big physical presence as well.
I was thinking the exact same thing. As he was coming on, I was thinking, PSG are probably thinking, no, absolutely not.
Trossard tries to play it down into the left channel for Martinelli, but didn't get the ball right. Out comes Merino, gets a high five from Mikel Arteta. He makes Mikel Arteta look like a smaller version of me. I was trying to pick the appropriate word there, Darren.
I'll let you do it.
And PSG play out from the back. It just shows you that how midfield players' profiles have changed over the years, because Mikel Arteta used to play in a central midfield. He used to play in central midfield for both these two teams. But he is sizably different to Mikel Merino. Here on the right-hand side, Kang-in Lee takes the ball on and tries to move down the right side. That's got to be a part of the recruitment process for Arsenal, isn't it? It's got the whole idea of getting physically stronger, bigger players into the team. It's got to be something that they have done by design.
I think so, because when you think back to Arsenal, the successful period, early 2000s, they were a big side. Vieira, Gilberto, Edu, Henry, Campbell, Toure, big powerful princes. And I remember standing in the tunnel next to them thinking, oh my goodness, like, what are we going to do against this team? And I think they're almost going back to that.
Left side, PSG start to come forward. A low ball into Barcola, who hasn't seen enough of the ball tonight. Gets it back to Marquinhos, whose shot from distance is blocked by the penalty spot by Gabriel. And now Martinelli is off and running, and he's being chased by Kang-in Lee because there's nobody else getting back quick enough. Martinelli tries to take on Kang-in Lee, who dives in, big challenge, gets the ball. It was a super challenge by Kang-in Lee, the South Korean international. Brilliant, actually, the way he waited, picked his time, and then dived in with a brilliant, well-timed challenge.
He had to, because he's committed himself there. He went to ground, and Martinelli tries to get past him, but it's a really good work from Kang-in Lee doing his defensive responsibilities.
Kolo Muani coming on for Doué, who, I'll be honest, I did a lot of Doué last year when he was playing for Rennes. He hasn't been anywhere up to the standard tonight. And on comes Kolo Muani. Fabian Ruiz is on as well. Vitinha is off. And off comes Thomas Partey, and you're about to hear the applause for Mikel Merino.
Thomas Partey to replace by number 23. Please welcome
Ever get a welcome like that?
Yeah, a couple of times. I'm looking forward to watching him play, Sam. I mean, they pretty much made it quite clear that they wanted him from a while. Arsenal, Mikel Arteta identified him as certainly one he wanted. They've managed to get it over the line, unfortunate with a shoulder injury, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him play tonight.
Here's Barcola over on the left-hand side, looking to try and get something for PSG. Tricked himself and then gave the ball to Saka rather than anybody else. Saka kept it in, and then, well, no, he didn't keep it in. The referee over on the far side not happy about it at all. Yeah, Mikel Merino did really well at Real Sociedad. Sociedad, obviously playing in the Champions League last year, were a bit of a surprise, I think, for most people. And he was a big part of that. Real big part of that. Played well for Spain when necessary.
Well, there was quite a few Sociedad players in the Spanish squad, which I found amazing.
Well, they've been a very good team over the last couple of years in La Liga, Real Sociedad. And, or La Real, as they would be called locally. And the producer's telling me that Sociedad means society. Yeah, that's why I said La Real. He's learning Spanish at the moment. Ball sent in from the left-hand side towards the near post. Takes a deflection, goes out off of an Arsenal defender and out for a corner over on the far touchline.
I wonder if PSG are going to change the way that they play now. Now Kolo Muani is the centre forward.
There's only 25 minutes left. It might be a good idea.
Well, at the minute, there's no real urgency to get the ball in the box and just change it up.
Maybe they aren't prioritising this as their big league phase fixture. Corner on the far side. The fans have been brilliant. The team, not so much. In towards the near post. Oh, it's flicked on towards the crossbar, and it takes a flick off the frame of the goal. I think that was João Neves who got in front of his marker, and from the corner flicked the ball up above Raya's head. It hit the top of the crossbar and come out the other side. Hakimi into the box. Barcola trying to keep it alive. Trossard goes down. Free kick given. Well, that was a big chance. And after being so careful from set pieces and so crafty from them themselves, Arsenal nearly conceded from one.
Yeah, really intelligent from João Neves. He almost flies across the front and just gets a little flick with the outside of his foot, and if anything he probably gets a bit too much in it and it bounces up and comes off the top of the crossbar. But just a little warning for Arsenal, for the last 5-10 minutes they've just got a little bit sloppy in possession.
Marquinhos striding forward. They need a bit more urgency. Maybe that will inject a bit into PSG, because they've been subservient to Arsenal so far. Kang-in Lee wins it back on this near side. A yard in from the touchline. Plays it across to Fabian Ruiz. He tries a strike from distance, and it's over the top of the goal by around about 2 or 3 yards, and goes into the PSG fans, who are standing with their scarves. They're half and half scarves, a lot of them. I think they bought the whole stock from outside the ground, waving it above their head, twirling them around. There's one bloke who hasn't got a shirt on, who's standing right in the middle of the pack, orchestrating them. He's not watching the play. I mean, for 67 minutes he didn't really miss much, to be honest, from his team, orchestrating the whole sort of event, and it has been a well choreographed response from those supporters. Maybe the team can join in now. The ball played up towards Fabian Ruiz. Back it goes to João Neves, then Kang-in Lee. From distance, it moved in the air. It was tapped away by Raya. Needed to readjust his body to make a good save. Well, this is more like it.
Yeah, it's a great strike from Kang-in Lee, and it moves all over the place. It's a really good save from David Raya. But the last 5 minutes, PSG have really put their foot on the gas. They've started little intricate plays, trying to get the ball into Kolo Muani, who's holding the ball up well.
Barcola into the box, blocked by Saka. Havertz manages to win it, then lose it. Barcola's got it back, left side of the box for PSG, to the byline, twisting, turning, still twisting, still holding on to the ball. No one puts a challenge in. He gets the ball back to Paco. Then it goes across to João Neves. Zaire Emery onto Marquinhos. They move up towards the right edge of the area now. Kang-in Lee dropping a little bit deeper. He's moved out to the right side since the arrival of Kolo Muani. Here is Marquinhos once again, on to Achraf Hakimi, darts infield, gives it back to João Neves. Hakimi Arsenal with everybody behind the ball at this moment in time. Down the right it goes. Space for Zaire Emery. Orchestrates a little bit of movement from Hakimi. Won't deliver the ball into the box. All of it happening outside the penalty area, and someone's got to take a risk and play a forward pass. Barcola gets it. Tries to return it to Nuno Mendes. And now Arsenal pick it up. And Marino runs into a tackle or two, but then it breaks towards the halfway line for Trossard. They don't go forward. They keep holding the ball through Havertz. Intelligent from him, who just kept Arsenal in possession rather than trying to rush it forward into a situation he might not have been able to really profit from.
Yeah, exactly. Really good, intelligent play there, because they've just been chasing shadows the last 5 minutes, you'd have to say, just to calm everyone down, get 1 or 2 passes in now, let everyone catch their breath a little bit, and then you can attack them again.
Up towards Havertz's chest, he brings it down elegantly and sends it out to the right. Saka back into Havertz again, flicks it to Trossard and then into Rice. Rice across towards Gabriel. Gabriel slides it down the side to the left now. Arsenal opening up the pitch to the left with Martinelli. Martinelli into Kivior, and then Marino joining the attack. They're on the front foot again now, Arsenal, after just having to suffer a little bit without the ball for 5 or so minutes and having to defend that set piece, which ended up hitting the top of the crossbar from João Neves, who got in front of his marker from a corner. Another goal in the game at Dortmund's Westfalenstadion. It's Talksport's David Tanner.
And it's Borussia 6, Celtic 1 now, halfway through the second half. And it's Serhou Guirassy who gets his second of the night. After Celtic tried to play the ball out of defence, he capitalised. Borussia 6, Celtic 1.
Yeah, I'm just hesitating there because Calafiori was going down the right-hand side and he got into a crossing position, but it was easily blocked in the end. Gabriel Jesus is going to come off the bench and join the attack for Arsenal. Might just give it a little bit of a kick, a spark with 20 minutes to go. Arsenal got to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, they have. They've allowed PSG to get themselves back into the game. But I think some of the substitutions, Fabian Ruiz and Kolo Muani, have had a big impact as well now. They've got targets there because, Fabian Ruiz is about 6'2". Kolo Muani, I still don't think they're getting enough service into him. They're getting into really good wide areas. But when they get their head up to cross it, they're almost turning out and letting Arsenal off the hook.
Good cross from Zaire Emery in towards Kolo Muani. He goes up with Gabriel. Gabriel heads it away. Collected now by João Neves, 20 yards short of the penalty area. Plays it to Achraf Hakimi. Kang-in Lee. Hakimi again. Right side of the Arsenal penalty area. Arsenal defending a little bit deeper now. Being pushed back. The ball into the box is a really good one from Kang-in Lee. Left-footed. Cleared away by Gabriel. And Trossard clears it but can't get out because there was no out ball available to him on the right side where he thought that Saka was going to be.
I think that's why you bring on someone like Gabriel Jesus, I think, because he'll take the ball in those type of areas. He's really good at holding it, using his body, manipulating the ball, and also he buys time as well. He allows his team to get up the pitch and really kind of hold on to the ball, draw fouls, and it makes sense that if they bring him on this substitution.
Just watching Albert Steinberg away to our left-hand side, affectionately known as AirPod Albert because he wears an earpiece so he can hear what's happening from on high. He gets the instructions from the coaching staff that are sitting upstairs, but he was furious there because Arsenal was sitting so deep and he wanted to get up the pitch quickly. They've done that now, and Mikel Merino has it just short of the D, plays it into Martinelli, who had to run a couple of challenges to keep on of possession there. They turn it back out to the right hand side where it's with Saliba and then Calafiori, who's played on that right hand side because Timber was taken off at the break. Down the right it goes, looking for the run of Saka. Doesn't quite come through to him. It's a bit scrappy, that. And then a clearance from Marquinhos, which was just really an up and under, headed forward by Rice onto Havertz, who takes it down brilliantly, charges into the box, wrestles with the defender, gets to the byline. Did it go out for a corner? No. He's given a free kick against Havertz for using his physicality, and Mikel Arteta was not happy, and he came darting down the touchline to have a word with the fourth official.
He wants to get that substitution made, and rightly so. He's obviously screaming there, and Kai Havertz does really well. Just to get the last little bit, he maybe takes it one step too far and ends up grabbing and causing a foul.
Off comes Trossard, and on comes Gabi Jesus. A difficult start to the season. Manchester City have gone 4-0 up now away at Slovan Bratislava over on Talksport 2. Barnsley 2-0 up against Wycombe Wanderers. Stockport County 2-0 up away at Shrewsbury. Carl Wootton with another goal 4 minutes from time. Bradford City get an equaliser in the 88th minute away at Morecambe. Jack Shepherd with the goal. Into 3-0 up against Red Star. Lautaro Martinez with the goal. Wycombe Wanderers 2-1 up now against Barnsley. Richard Kone. And Barnsley with a late equaliser against Wycombe Wanderers. 89 minutes on the clock when Mark Roberts nets for the team at Oakwell. Dion Charles for Bolton Wanderers has got a 4th away at Northampton Town. And just clarification on that goal scorer for Manchester City, James McAtee.
Oh, nice. Very nice. I thought he was going to say Haaland again. That was what I was waiting for.
Not this time. Haaland has taken his leave. Get ready for the weekend.
Well, that's the only reason why he hasn't scored then, because he's got one, but he would have got a couple more.
Arsenal got Southampton up there this weekend. Here's Havertz on towards Jesus inside the area, trying to turn and twist away from Marquinhos. He might come back to Saka here. Goes left towards Martinelli to finish it off straight at the goalkeeper Donnarumma, and it's cleared away. Well, that's the lack of ruthlessness that they didn't show in the game against Leicester. Will it come back to haunt them, because Kolo Muani has just rolled the defender and played the ball out towards Barcola on the left, tries to return it into Kolo Muani, and across comes Saliba and gets in front of his man and manages to stab it out to the far side. But Arsenal, after having a great opportunity through Martinelli at one end, then almost had to suffer at the other, as Kolo Muani went racing through the centre after spinning the defender, sending the ball wide, looking for the return, but Saliba was there to stop it.
Yeah, great defending from Saliba, sensing danger, because Kolo Muani does really well, just rolls it into Bradley Barcola, and he puts it into a good area, but Saliba's quite clear in what he wants to do. He gets himself across to that near post space and just clears it. But you're right, the other end, Martinelli, I don't think, again, we said the first one he hits it too flush, that one he scuffs it and it goes straight to Donnarumma.
Got to finish those chances in the Champions League. If you don't finish those chances, I mean, okay, you're in a good position, you're 2-0 up here, it might not hurt you today, but you get chances like that in a key game against Inter Milan in the San Siro, that's got to go in the back of the net.
Yeah, it does, and it breeds confidence. And for himself personally, I mean, 1 goal since March. I think he's played well tonight, but as you said there, he's had a couple of opportunities where he probably should do a little bit better with them.
Calafiori squares up to Fabian Ruiz over on the far touchline. How much more of a threat have PSG been since they decided to play with a forward?
Well, that's the thing. I think Luis Enrique again will look back at this and go, do you know what, I've made a mistake here with the tactics that I've employed from the start, because Kolo Muani's come on, he's been up, he's been physical, we had an opportunity there, but it was good defending, and he's been a real threat, but also as well, he's making Saliba and Gabriel defend. First half they were up against nobody, it was quite comfortable. All of a sudden you put a player in and around them in that vicinity, then it makes them you're answering them questions, making them defend, making them be physical. So I think Luis Enrique, when he looks back at this performance, will go, I think I've made a mistake here.
Luis Enrique, who is the subject of a new documentary, I'm told, in Spain, where the cameras have been following him around for a year. Usually rather private person. He was followed around for 12 months by a camera crew. He was actually asked in one of the scenes why he decided to open his doors and be filmed, and he said, there is this gentleman, his name is Graham Hunter, he convinced me to do it. Graham, always able to talk you into something. Should be a good documentary. That's about to come out. I saw it out in Spain. It should come out in this country very soon. Here is Barcola to the edge of the penalty area. It's collected and sent down towards Barcola again, who lost his balance inside the box. Flicked up, hit the arm of Calafiori. Referee is looking at it, and he's given a free kick the other way after a wrestling match. Luis Enrique thinks there should be a VAR check. There might be, because that did look as if it popped up and hit a hand.
I mean, there's not a lot Calafiori could do with that. I mean, it takes a slight deflection, his arm's away from his body, and it pops up and hits his hand. I mean, if you start giving penalties for that, then we've got big problems. But
well, you say that. They did it last year.
I mean, his arm was next to his body. There's not really a lot he can do with that. You can't not give a penalty for that. His hand's in a natural position.
Well, PSG think it should be a penalty. It's certainly it would be we would class that in the Premier League as a soft as a harsh penalty,
of course.
But in Europe, I've seen offences like that punished with a spot kick. In fact, I'll take you back to November last year and Newcastle United.
Well, do you know what? Good thing we've got officials tonight that have got common sense, because there's not a lot Calafiori can do with that. If Bradley Barcola goes to the ground, it takes a little nick up, I think, off Saliba. he's about a yard away.
Yeah, he can't.
There's nothing he can do
and
about
he was
that.
pulling his arm back, to be fair to him. Not that that necessarily is a mitigating factor for many of the referees in European football. I think Arteta's getting a little bit irate because they have lacked a little bit of control in this second half. Look, you're always going to encounter problems when you're playing at elite level against PSG, for example, but I just think that this game probably could have been put to bed. They've had a couple of chances which they haven't taken. They haven't made the right decisions in the final third, and they've sort of allowed PSG back into the game, really.
But that's the thing. He's probably a little bit angry because they're almost causing their own problems. Because as you said there, Sam, it could be 4-0. They've had good opportunities. 4-0, you can probably take a couple off. You can relax. You can see the game out. But the fact it's only 2-0 and they still look dangerous, it's a slight concern.
Here is Jesus back towards the edge of the penalty area. It's given to eventually Rice, and then back out wide it goes again. Jesus finds Rice and then Gabriel across to Rice. They're inside the PSG half, about 10 yards in front of the centre circle, just popping the ball around, keeping possession. Arsenal over on the far side, knowing that this result will get them 3 points, start moving them up into the top 8 actually for tonight. Anyway, there's more games tomorrow, but they'll go up to 7th in the standings as a result of that. Dear oh dear, I think we better go back off to Signal Iduna Park because there's been another goal for David Tanner.
79 minutes gone. It's Borussia Dortmund 7, Celtic 1. This one came from a blunder by Kasper Schmeichel, being watched by his father Peter, who's on commentary duty tonight for Danish television. The ball being rattled into the back of the net by substitute Felix Nemechka. Borussia Dortmund 7, Celtic 1, and there's still 10 minutes to go.
Oh dear. Now just a reminder that it was only last week actually, or not last week, the last match day, so it was 2 weeks ago, that Bayern Munich scored 9 in their game against Dinamo Zagreb. The record margin of victory in a Champions League game is by 8 goals. Liverpool against Besiktas 2007, Real Madrid against Malmo 2015. Ball down the right hand side towards Martinelli, who's inside the penalty area, tries to pull it back, doesn't do a very good job doing so, but he was offside anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we'll go off to the Hawthorns in the Championship, and a goal for Nikesh Rugani.
Yeah, where West Brom have just conceded to Middlesbrough. West Brom 0, Middlesbrough 1. Hayden Hackney latching onto a cross from the right, just inside the area, stroked it in with his right foot. It's a deserved lead for the visitors. It's West Brom 0, Borough 1.
Back here in the Emirates and the Champions League, it is Arsenal who lead by 2-0 with just 9 minutes still to play. But here's Bradley Barcola for PSG. Down the left, trying to pull the ball back through the 18-yard box. Looks for Randall Kolo Muani, who's forcing an error from Saliba. I actually think he probably could have got a corner there. But he's become a real handful. And Gabriel and Saliba, who probably played for the first sort of 45, 50 minutes in flip-flops, they didn't need to worry about what was going on inside the box, have known in the second half with the introduction of Kolo Muani that they've got a bit of a job to do.
They have, and it's good movement from Kolo Muani there, because Bradley Barcola has been a little bit of a threat this second half. Again, the only problem for PSG, Kolo Muani is the only one in the box. So when it breaks wide, Saliba and Gabriel have got one person to mark. I think if Keaton Lee gets into that back post and makes another body in there, then again you're asking them questions. But I think on too many occasions this evening, PSG have almost let Arsenal off the hook by not committing too many men forward or choosing the right option in the final third.
Not one-sided games in the Champions League tonight. Barcelona 5-0 up against Young Boys, Inter 4-0 up against Red Star Belgrade. You're listening to Arsenal 2, PSG 0 in the Champions League on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, we've got a van. And tomorrow night we've got more Champions League action. What a game that is tomorrow night. Aston Villa, your old club, against Bayern Munich.
Some game that's what we call a proper Champions League now. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Gabriel Bonnehoff very excited, as you would imagine.
I bet he is. I bet he's not sitting with the fans. I bet he's in VIP'd up, and in the box and all that.
He's mad with people. No, he'll be in the Holt end, won't he?
No chance.
Yeah, he'll be in the Holt end, yeah, definitely. I'm sure of it. The Talksport Breakfast back tomorrow morning to react to all of the night's Champions League action and action from the League Cup as well. Ray Parlour will be alongside Alan Brazil, be talking about this Arsenal game, and they'll have Emmanuel Petit on again to discuss this particular match. Here is Nuno Mendes down the left-hand side for PSG, trying to get the cross in. It took a deflection, it goes behind and away for a corner to PSG with 6.5 minutes to go. 03717 223344 if you want to give your view on tonight's performance. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. In fact, maybe you're a fan of an EFL club, you've just got in your car after the game and you want to react to your team's performance. 03717 223344. Jamie O'Hara and the Duck Lover on from 10 o'clock tonight.
The what lover?
Duck Lover.
Oh. Never heard that before.
Yes, you have. You not listen to the sports bar? Come on.
I tend to be in bed.
It's too late for you, isn't it?
Just me.
Yeah. Ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Marquinhos gets up there higher than Rice and heads the ball goalwards. It's over the top of the crossbar. And it's away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. Full time at St James's Park for Talksport Steve Harmison.
Newcastle 1, Wimbledon 0. Fabian Schär penalty on 44 minutes was a difference between the two sides. Wimbledon have defended brilliantly throughout this game. Newcastle have had a lot of possession, never really like scoring, so brilliant defensive display from Wimbledon. Newcastle go through to play Chelsea in the 4th round. St James's Park, Newcastle 1, Wimbledon 0.
Thank you very much, Steve Harmison. This is TalkSport, and we're live at the Emirates Stadium. And Arsenal about to get their first 3 points. But PSG scored the latest game-winning own goal in Champions League history 2 weeks ago.
Would they get 2?
Will there be more late drama tonight? We will see. They have the ball inside their own 18-yard box, and it's with Donnarumma stroking it left to Nuno Mendes. I mentioned Arsenal's next opponents in this competition, Paris Saint-Germain. They've got, I think they've got one of the hardest group stages or group league phases. In fact, the Opta supercomputer considered them to have the toughest fixture schedule of all the teams in the league's phase of the Champions League this term. They go away to Salzburg, then Bayern. They haven't got a plum draw at all because their penultimate game is Manchester City at home, and then finish with Stuttgart away. Before that, PSV and Atletico as well. That's some big teams in there.
That's some really big teams. That, I mean, if they're going to do it, they're going to have to do it the hard way.
Yeah. And they're going to lose here tonight unless they can come up with 2 late goals. And bearing in mind that those games are so difficult for them to negotiate, I'm a little bit surprised that Luis Enrique picked the team that he did tonight.
Yeah, I know they had a good result against Rennes at the weekend, so he probably felt he had to be a little bit loyal to some of those players. But you're right, I mean, they've carried so much more of a threat with Kolo Muani having a real centre forward up there, because first off, they were so passive.
Jesus wrestles possession, tries to give it to Havertz. It's a poor ball in the end from Jesus. It was cut out and cleared away. Full time at Turf Moor, John Dunn.
It's Burnley 1, Plymouth 0. Burnley dominated the first half. They should have had more goals than the one they did get. A Josh Brownhill penalty on 25 minutes. Second half, a more even affair. The longer it went on, the more encouragement that Plymouth got. Whittaker and Garby wasted chances from good Plymouth moves. It's just 1 defeat in the Championship for Burnley this season. Full time, Burnley 1, Plymouth 0.
Well, there's a little bit of a delay here because there is a potential penalty check because Randall Kolo Muani has gone down inside the penalty area. The ball was with Hakimi. He went darting down into the penalty box, and off the ball there was a tangle between Kolo Muani and Declan Rice. And did Declan Rice catch him? They are checking for a potential penalty, checking to see if the foul was in or outside the penalty area. That is the question, and I think they've decided that it was outside. Otherwise, they would have been in trouble there.
They would have been, but I mean, the foul started about 5 yards outside the penalty box, and then Declan Rice, to be fair, let Kolo Muani go by the time they got to the box. So, for me, it was not even close.
What was I asking you for?
I'm just giving you the facts.
Take your Arsenal bubble hat off. In fact, if you had your Arsenal bubble hat on, you wouldn't have had to stop for so many selfies.
Man of the people.
I didn't realise how much of an Arsenal hero you were, bearing in mind.
Very strange. Oi, none of that.
2-0 with 2 minutes to go, and it's full time at Carrow Road for Mike Sewell.
A point apiece and a goal apiece. Norwich 1, Leeds 1. Josh Sargent's penalty after 16 minutes gave Norwich a half-time lead, but Leeds, who looked threatening for many parts of the game, eventually scored after good work by Nonto, set up Laji Ramazani to equalise on the hour mark. It finished Norwich 1, Leeds 1.
Thank you very much to Mike Schull. A point apiece then at Carrow Road, and here it's going to be all 3 points for Arsenal. Have a throw in deep inside opposition territory. That Leeds point means that they'll be in 4th position tonight, and that's a good 3 points off the top. The place being set by Sunderland. West Brom losing today. They're going to stay in 3rd position behind Burnley and Sunderland in the automatic positions. Middlesbrough about to go up into the playoff places with their 1-0 win. That's what it looks like at this moment in time. The bottom 3, Preston, Portsmouth and Cardiff. Luton 2, Oxford 2. Oxford coming from 2-0 down, but Luton down to 10 men. That's a full-time result. Coventry beat Blackburn 3-0. And Wigan beat Peterborough 3-0. Here comes Achraf Hakimi, stopped by Mikel Merino. He dives in, pokes the ball out towards this near side, hooking the ball out really. Goes into midfield, and then it's picked up by Zaire Emery. And the ball is with Barcola over on the far side. He takes it on, moves into the penalty area, and then goes into the box, goes past 2 challenges, then tries to evade Saliba, who stops him. And then Arsenal try to break, and Martinelli gives the ball away, and now it's picked up by Kang-in Lee down the right side, tries to tee it up. Hakimi into the box. I mean, I don't know what on earth Hakimi was doing. I think his left foot obviously nowhere near as good as his right, but even so, he should have made a better fist of that. The ball was cleared, and Havertz then held, and a free kick given in Arsenal's favour. There's going to be 4 minutes of added time. By the way, we have a very good communication system in the Premier League now, and I want to give credit to the PGMOL for the way that they have transformed the way they communicate VAR decisions to the supporters inside the stadium now. Needs a little bit of work in the Champions League. It's just flashed up on all the screens around the stadium. VAR technical explanation for obviously the decision that didn't go the way of PSG. Here is Jesus into the penalty area right side, stops, loses the ball. It's taken out on the far touchline by João Neves, and then he wins a goal kick by playing against the Brazilian. It said, yeah, VAR technical explanation, and then just underneath it just said message 1, as if everyone's supposed to know what that means. Miles Lewis-Skelly is about to come on and play in the Champions League and replace Bukayo Saka. And the youngster, who is just 18 years of age, left back, making his 3rd appearance of the season for Arsenal, as Sunderland complete a 2-0 victory over Derby County in the Championship. Arsenal fans leaving nice and early, knowing that they can now, I think, accept that they're going to get all 3 points, Darren Bent.
Yeah, they are. I think they've done enough. Certainly that first half performance where they almost put the game to bed. They've had opportunities this second half as well, but they haven't taken them. But PSG have offered so little. I mean, since they made the substitution, Kolo Muani and Fabian Ruiz, that's when they maybe offered more. But still, for me, haven't offered enough to really hurt this Arsenal backline. And again, Saka got the assist in that first half. I thought he was kind of on the fringes. I've seen him play better, but to be fair, I've got the job done. That first half performance.
This was one of the toughest assignments that the league faced for Arsenal. They were always going to find it difficult in spells of the match. The crossbar coming to their rescue once, but they are going to negotiate it. Here is Nuno Mendes down the left, trying to send the ball centrally for one last chance, possibly. We're into added time at the end of the 90. And 3 minutes nearly into that now. There is going to be a late corner kick here. There are points, and then there are valuable 3 points, and this is certainly going to be a valuable 3 points for Arsenal as the ball goes in towards the near post, and again didn't really defend that particularly well. It bobbled up off of Jesus and into the arms of a grateful David Raya, who jumps on the ball at the near post and will clear away, and that will be the last action of the 90 minutes. Arsenal going to extend their unbeaten record to 15 games. I would suggest that this is now turning out to be a very good start to the season for Mikel Arteta. Exactly how he would have liked to have started the Champions League campaign at home with a 2-0 victory over PSG. That's 4 points on the board now. I think after 2 games he'd be satisfied with that, will he?
100%, because as you said there, this was one of the most difficult ones. Got off to a bit of a slow start in the first game, but as you said, 4 points in 2 games. You wanted to get your first win, especially at home against a rival, and they've managed to do that, it looks like.
Julien Laurent, who is well known to listeners of Talksport, big PSG fan, has just walked down in front of us. I think he was complaining there about the handball, suggesting there should have been a penalty. Come on, Julien. Do us a favour. I don't think so. I think the big question tonight is about Luis Enrique's team selection. Arsenal did really well first half. Second half's been a little bit more balanced, but that's because they've thrown on players with more threat.
Yeah, they've finally made Arsenal try and defend, because first half again it was passive. There was no real aggression in their attacking play. But you're at the moment it made a couple of substitutions, you start to think, okay, could have done it earlier, could have done it at half time, and they didn't do that. And Arsenal the second half, bar a couple of moments, have been relatively comfortable.
Free kick then for PSG in the last few seconds of the game, down the right side of the penalty area. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger from Kang-In Lee. It's towards the far post. It's headed away by Calafiori. Comes back out to the edge of the penalty area. Sent wide to Fabian Ruiz, who's right on the edge of the box. Arsenal want to preserve their clean sheet here. It's a deep ball to the far post, and out comes Raya. Grabs it ahead of Marquinhos. And it's another good performance by him. He had to make 1 or 2 saves, but nothing more than that. And Arsenal get all 3 points. Arsenal arrive in the Champions League group phase with a stellar victory over a stellar opponent. Detractors will point to who wasn't here. It's not PSG with Mbappe. They expelled their best player. They didn't start with a striker, but make no bones about it, PSG came out in the second half and gave them a bit of a test. Arsenal had to withstand it and did. They probably should have taken more chances than they did, but 2 goals tonight, 1 from Havertz, 1 from Saka, makes it 4 points from 6 games for Arsenal in the Champions League. They're eyeing up the top 8. Arsenal 2, PSG 0.
Yeah, in the end, comfortable for Arsenal and Darren Bent. Fans going to the game tonight wanted to see Arsenal dominate the game, pick up the 3 points and make a statement. It's exactly what's happened.
Yeah, it was. I think the first half was really the key to it. They came out the blocks really quick. Obviously got a nice little 2-goal cushion that first half, and were comfortable, and it probably should have been more. If you look at the opportunities second half that they had, didn't quite take him. Martinelli, he had one lovely move volley that was saved by Donnarumma, and then he had one where he didn't quite get enough on it and made Donnarumma make the save. But for Arsenal, yeah, against a rival, a European rival, it's a real statement. 4 points from 2 games. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, and when we go back to the goals in that first half, and it kind of summed up what's good about Arsenal. There's clever play, Trossard delaying the cross, then putting in the perfect cross, bravery from Havertz with the header, and then with the second goal, it's a set piece. Bukayo Saka scores.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the first goal was fantastic. Leandro Trossard, great player. I thought he played really well today. And as you said there, a little bit of quality. He doesn't take the safe option, which is a pass square. He waits a split second for Havertz to make the run. And when he delivers it, he puts it into an area where you almost say, Havertz, get your head on that. And if you do that, you score. And he does it. And as you said there with a set play, they're so dangerous from set plays that the quality into the box doesn't always have to be that good, because the movement's really good. And about 4 or 5 of them fly across Donnarumma. And when he looks back, yes, maybe he'll go, do you know what, I should have done better. He doesn't, and it just bounces into that far corner, and it's job done for Arsenal.